It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here at Bob Wren Stadium. Southern Ohio Copperheads. It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here at Bob Wren Stadium. Southern Ohio Copperheads are about to start a homestand. It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here at Bob Wren Stadium. Southern Ohio Copperheads. It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here at Bob Wren Stadium. Southern Ohio Copperheads. It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here at Bob Wren Stadium. Southern Ohio Copperheads are about to start a homestand where they'll play 7 out of their next 8 at home. As for the Mariners, they're on a 9-game road stretch. We'll see if the Copperheads can take advantage. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast booth. Sedric, Granger, Tim, Hanna, and Tim, I think we look pretty good in gold. What's the occasion for it?
We do. Turn It Gold Night tonight. Passionworks Studios supporting childhood cancer. So be sure to stay tuned into all of our social medias, or if you're coming out to the ballpark, look around the ballpark. There's all kinds of different stuff that Passionworks and Precision Imprints, as well as the Copperheads, have all kind of paired up together to do. It should be a really special night.
It is, and it has all the making for a special night. We have, of course, the gold shirts going around, a lot of the money from the tickets going towards charity, as well as some new alternate uniforms for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. They'll be breaking out the gold jerseys, which are absolutely fantastic. They look super clean underneath the sun, and hopefully the weather stays nice and strong for the Copperheads, as there's been thunderstorms a little bit today, and it's been a little bit up and down, but right now it's starting to look good, so we hope that the Copperheads can be able to play this full game here against the Grand Lake Mariners. But Copperheads, yesterday, they had a doubleheader where, again, they won the first game, but weren't able to do as well in the second game. How can the Copperheads get a win today, Tim?
Copperheads kind of have to put it all together, right? So we've seen the starting pitching kind of come into their own. We've seen the bats start to get hot in the last couple of games, and yesterday, ultimately, it was some of the closing pitching that was the downfall for the Copperheads. So they can kind of put all these things together. Grand Lakes is, as you said, coming off of a really long road trip. They'll have a couple more games on the road before they head back home. So that team is tired. I know when we travel on the road, you get pretty tired after a couple of games. So 9 games on the road, a lot for these guys to handle. So if the Copperheads can attack the starting pitchers early, get after them, start to get into that bullpen, you should have success. Gabriel Torres on the mound today for the Copperheads, or for the Mariners, excuse me. Gave the Copperheads a lot of trouble the last time we were up at Grand Lake. So the key for them is to get to him early and try and get him out of the game, get towards that bullpen.
So as you heard, the Mariners will be starting Gabriel Torres, and the Copperheads will be starting Cody Williams. So when we come back from commercial break, we'll have the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners in a GLSEL South Showdown. We are about to be underway here at Bob Wren Stadium. The Southern Ohio Copperheads, who are coming in at 6-12 on the year, are taking on the Grand Lake Mariners, who have the longest losing streak right now in the GLSCL and are sitting at 9-11. So both of these two teams sitting near the bottom of the standings at 6th and 7th place. But coming up here first for the Mariners, it'll be Donnie Goods. And Donnie Goods getting another start here. He's 0 for 3 against the Copperheads on the season for the outfielder, averaging 154 for his batting average, and from Adrian College. And he'll take the first pitch here from Cody Williams outside for a ball.
Tim, what's the Copperheads defensive alignment looking like for tonight?
A couple of switches on defense tonight for the Copperheads. We'll have Bam Thomas holding down first, Mason Adolny again on that third base corner. Middle of the infield, bit of a change today. Carson Shepard at short, Jordan Long at second. We'll see the first of him for the first time in a couple of days. Clayton Hodges, Kyle Ratliff, and Trey Rucker out there in the outfield. And Josh Steidel get another chance tonight after getting a couple of days off behind the dish.
1-1 is a big swing and miss by Good, so it'll be 1-2 to him. As pitcher for today for the Copperheads is Cody Williams, making his third appearance on the year. Had a great game against the Joes where he got 7 strikeouts and held the Joes to a very low amount as he gets good swinging for strike number 3. So that's one quick down.
Good way to start the game for the Copperheads. We've seen other teams be able to use that elite-type pitching to really get ahead of the Copperheads in a lot of these games. And so being able to start a game like this, pound that strike zone, is something that is going to be critical for the Copperheads in this game.
Next up to bat for the Mariners is Tucker Hagen, and he'll be followed up by Luke Vonderhaar, who's also due up in this inning. Manny Voorhees, Jackson Hauer, and Ty Davis will be up to bat as well in this order, 4, 5, 6. And then 7, 8, 9 are Elliot Cruson, Andrew Nicoluk, Sam Seeker, who will also be batting today for the Grand Lake Mariners, who are coached by Coach Tony Perez. And first pitch from Cody Williams was in for a ball, and then the second one is in for a strike. Williams, also named Nicholas Williams, but goes by Cody.
Going to be really imperative that all of these Copperheads pitchers today attack that strike zone. It's something we saw Gilkey be able to do really well in the game, the first game of the doubleheader last night, and Daniel Walters was able to do it sparingly and got him into a bit of trouble last night as well. So if Cody Williams is able to attack that strike zone, we'll see a lot of success from him tonight.
There's going to be a chopper out to Jordan Long at second base. He fields it on one hop, and he's unable to get it there in time as the runner is safe. Tucker Hagen picks up the infield single. And
Jump by Hagen to run that one out. It's a tough play for Jordan Long, and able to leg that one out.
Now the next batter here for the Grand Lake Mariners, batting third is Luke Vonderhaar, who's batting 200 on the year, driven in 7 RBIs for the Baldwin Wallace College product here. It's a 0-0 game in the top of the first inning. Copperheads wearing their alternate Turn It Gold jerseys as Cody Williams delivers a strike on that first pitch to Vonderhaar in honor of Passionworks Studios and course charity as well. It's just really great seeing the Copperheads and Turn It Gold come together for this awesome event, and really have Trevor Stevens to thank for it, as well as Annie Valente and the wonderful people with Turn It Gold for making this happen. As it's a quick 2 strikes to Vonderhaar, and Cody will try to pick up his second strikeout of the day as he sets at the mound, delivers the pitch. It's going to be chopped over to Carson Shepard at short, delivers it to Jordan Long at second for 1 out, and then it's to Bam Thomas for the 3rd out, and that's going to retire the side. Copperheads end off the top of the first with a double play, and that's going to get the crowd going here at Bob Wren Stadium. So the game is still scoreless, and the Copperheads will grab the bats when we come back. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the first inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the first presented to you by Larry's Doghouse and Ohio Health as well. We always appreciate our sponsors here with the Southern Ohio Copperheads. And, of course, with Larry's Doghouse, I absolutely love the Copperhead Crunch Dog. And then Ohio Health, they were able to help me out when I was going through some sicknesses as well throughout the year. Had a bad case of mono, sadly, at the end of last year, and they were able to help me out, and really appreciate the good people at Ohio Health as well. But in this game, the Copperheads started off with a 1-2-3 inning as they're able to get Donnie Goods, Tucker Hagan, and Luke Vonderhaar down. And now the Copperheads, they'll bring on their lineup. It'll be Trey Rucker batting first, Gunnar Aldridge batting second, Kyle Ratliff, the center fielder, batting third, Bam Thomas fourth, Mason Nadolny fifth, Hodges sixth, Steidel seventh, Jordan Long eighth, and rounding it out is Carson Shepard, the shortstop. But we'll bring on Trey Rucker, who'll be batting against the ever-so-dangerous pitcher in Gabriel Torres. He pitched 8 innings last time he saw the Copperheads, only allowed 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. But the runner who did score a run in that game was Trey Rucker.
Yeah, Gabriel Torres in absolute control of that game when we were up in Grand Lake the last time, and didn't allow the Copperheads offense to get going at all. Really had his way with our offense the entire day. Defensively for the Copperheads, Ty Davis will be behind the dish. Luke Vandehar, Manny Voorhees on the corner. Middle infield, Andrew Nicoluk and Tucker Hagan. Outfield, we'll see Elliot Cruson, Sam Seeker, and Donnie Good. Sam Seeker, one of the elite center fielders in the GLSCL, Sedric.
Yeah, him and Kyle Ratliff have been some of the best center fielders in the league, and those guys really have a commanding presence in the area as Trey Rucker swings and misses there, so he goes down on strikes. And that'll bring on Gunnar Aldridge, the man who's been batting the best for the Copperheads as of late, as he's the first player on the team to have a single, a double, a triple, and a home run this season. So one of each, and he has a hit in 5 out of his last 6 games, batting .222 overall for number 12 from Michigan State. And we'll see if Aldridge can find some success against Torres, who's really had the Copperheads number so far this year as he delivers the first pitch inside and low for ball number 1. And this has all the makings of what could potentially be a low-scoring game, Tim, as you have teams with pretty solid starting pitchers out here today, and you have 2 teams with the lowest batting averages right now in the league. The Copperheads sitting at .219 for their batting average, while the Mariners are at last in the division with .207. So has the makings for solid defensive output. 2-0 on its way. It's going to be hit into shallow center field right in front of Sam Seeker, down for a base hit. Gunnar Aldridge gets it started for the Copperheads with a single.
Well hit ball there into the gap. As I mentioned earlier, Sam Seeker, one of the elite defensive center fielders in the entire league. So really any ball hit out towards his direction has a chance to be caught, and or at least made a play on it. And so good job by Aldridge to drop that one in the gap where Seeker couldn't get to it.
Yep, Gunnar Aldridge has been money, batting over 400 now over his last 7 days. There's a deep shot out into left field for Kyle Ratliff. That goes just foul. Oh, so close there from Kyle Ratliff, but it'll be strike number 1 for the big hitting outfielder who has 4 home runs, which leads the entire GLSCL with that total, tied with a couple of other players, including Austin Deering of the Jazz. But he's definitely been one of the most dangerous bats for this Copperheads team, going 4 for 10 at the plate. 1 home run, 1 double throughout the doubleheader yesterday as well, or throughout the last 10 plate appearance, rather.
Sedric, the last time we saw him hit a ball out that direction, that was the back-to-back home runs, and only one of them counted.
A very strange series of events there, as we thought for sure the first one was a home run. We felt like it was definitely a robbery, and Coach Lanning definitely agreed with us there. But as you said, Tim, during that broadcast, ball does not lie, as the count is 1-1 here to Kyle Ratliff. As Torres sets, delivers the pitch. It's going to be chopped over in between the shortstop and third baseman for another base hit. Runners advance. Kyle Ratliff picking up the single. Already hit number 2 for the Copperheads. And, Tim, they're doing a great job of coming out swinging.
This is the thing that Copperheads are going to need to do if they want to continue to be successful, continue to get into that win column. And now the next step to this is not leaving guys on base. We saw a couple different scenarios yesterday. 3 or 4 guys left on third base last night, Sedric? So that'll be the next step for this team, trying to take that next step and get those guys across the plate to score. But Good job so far by the Copperheads being aggressive, finding those gaps in the defense.
Yeah, leaving guys in scoring position has been the Achilles heel of this Southern Ohio Copperheads team, as they're last in the league in RBI. So they're going to want to increase that total as the year goes on. As the next batter here is Bam Thomas, who took the first pitch from Torres outside for ball number 1. Bam Thomas out of Flagler College is batting .213 on the year, driven in 4 ribbies as well. Did have that 1 home run against the Jazz earlier this season, as the 1-0 pitch is fouled backwards for strike number 1. Bam Thomas has great versatility as both an outfielder and an infielder. We've seen him at first base, we've seen him out at left field, and today he's in the infield for the second time straight.
Yeah, he's kind of settled into his role at first base, too. We saw his first time there. Not the greatest performance, a couple of errors, but he went to work and settled in and has played really well at first the last couple of days.
Of course. When you're switching positions, there's usually going to be a little bit of time to take some adjustments. But
Absolutely.
Again, Bam Thomas really played well yesterday at the first base, being able to move up and adjust to bunts as there's going to be a fly ball going out into foul territory, and they are going to make the catch. That's Manny Voorhees going from his third base position, and that's out number 2 with 2 runners on for the Copperheads in a 0-0 game at Bob Rinn Stadium between 2 teams looking to get back in the win column. Copperheads, they lost the second game of the doubleheader to the Xenia Scouts 15-5, but they won the first game 4-2 in a very syncopated game that originally started on the 13th and was resumed on the 22nd just to be canceled again, and then it was resumed and finished on the 30th of June, the last day of the month. And it really goes to show, if at first you don't succeed, try again with these games, as the first pitch to Mason Nadolny is fouled backwards for strike number 1.
And I think that game yesterday, first game of the doubleheader, serves as a reminder to this team that it is still possible if they kind of put everything together to get those wins. It's been something that has been tough for the last couple of days, playing a lot of really good teams in that stretch too. So being able to get that win kind of helps reset things mentally, and now they'll get a chance. 7 of their next 8 games are home, so we'll be able to steal a couple in front of the home crowd.
Nadolny gets called by Torres there, looking, as Torres did a great job working the edge of the strike zone, and he was able to get the guy with the highest batting average on the team, Mason Nadolny, down. So Copperheads leave 2 runners on, but do show a little bit of an offensive spark, getting a couple of hits there. But the game will still be tied as we go into the second inning. You listen to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the second inning here at Bob Rinn Stadium. The top of the second is presented to you by Jackie O's Brewery. So for all our Copperheads fans over the age of 21, we recommend trying out Homer's Hazy IPA. If you're over that age, enjoy that beverage. For the Mariners, the runners due up, or batters rather due up, are Manny Voorhees, Jackson Howard, Ty Davis, the 4, 5, 6 in the order. So it'll start off with Manny Voorhees, and he'll be working against the pitcher Cody Williams of the Southern Ohio Copperheads, making his 3rd appearance on the year as a 7.81 ERA. But the main thing that was really important with Cody was showing that improvement from Game 1 to Game 2, including 7 strikeouts against the best team in the league in the Hamilton Joes.
Yeah, he's slowly improved each appearance he's made on the mound and gotten a lot better than his first start. It was obviously not a great scenario when he had to come in during that first start, but slowly and steadily making that improvement. And I think that's what Coach Lanning and Coach Harris are looking for in their starting pitchers, is now we've kind of seen Williams settle into that third starter role.
Of course, and I feel like every pitcher on this team, you got to get that first start out of the way where you're shaking the rust off, and then we've seen a lot of pitchers where in their second start they've really come in and done very well. And it's very rare. The only pitcher we saw that really came out with a really great start was Daniel Walter, where we had other pitchers where, again, they had to get used to it as there's a shot out into center field, and Ratliff's unable to make the catch as he tried to dive for it, and that'll result in a potential double. He tries to slide at the plate, and he's out! The Copperheads got Voorhees as he tried to push his luck running from first to second, but Carson Shepard covered second base, made the play, and Tim, that's having your teammates back. When one person couldn't make the play, they were able to make it at the end of the day.
Trey Rucker put that ball on a line. I mean, an absolute line from center field. Kyle Ratliff made a really athletic play to try and get there and make that. Just couldn't kind of size it up. Missed the ball, but who was there to cover him? Trey Rucker.
Now Jackson Howard is up the DH for the Grand Lake Mariners as he's batting .273 on the year, driven in 6 RBIs, and is 2 for 2 against the Copperheads as he swings and misses there for strike number 1, so it'll be 1-1 to Howard. Copperheads and Mariners have seen each other a lot, especially for this crowd at Bob Wren Stadium. They've seen them on very notable occasions, including a weekend game or a game of start of a homestand, rather, as they played last week on the 23rd. And then also they had that home opener out here for the first time having baseball in a really long time. And it was a very iconic home opener, Tim.
It was still one of those memorable things about this season. We're about 19 games into the year, and I still think about that opening night, the atmosphere here, and it was incredible.
And Cody Williams picks up the strikeout as he got Jackson Howard swinging. So that's 2 down in the inning. All 5 batters so far have technically been retired. He did give up the single, but he ended up being out on the double play. So that'll bring on Ty Davis from Marietta College and originally from Springboro, Ohio. He's batting .304 and is 2 for 4 against the Southern Ohio Copperheads this year. First pitch in there is just a little bit outside for ball number 1 to Ty Davis. Cody Williams and Gabriel Torres in a little bit of a pitcher's duel. A pair of strikeouts for each of them in this early game here. Copperheads and Mariners tied up at 0. And it'll now be 1-1 to Ty Davis.
Josh Steidel doing a really good job framing those pitches in there, giving Cody as much help as he can get on that inside part of the plate.
And there's another swing from Ty Davis for strike number 2, so it'll be 1-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on, no score at Bob Wren Stadium on a beautiful evening where there was storms earlier today and really set the stage for quite a beautiful evening. And it looked like that's ball number 2 as it went in, really inside. I almost thought it might have potentially nicked Davis, but fortunate for the Copperheads. No hit by pitch there, and it's just a 2-2 count, 2 outs.
Look for him to throw a similar pitch like that. Almost had him swinging on that first one.
And he does get him swinging there as that pitch ended up breaking low and was able to trick Ty Davis. So a pair of strikeouts from Cody Williams, who's starting off the day pretty strong as the Copperheads and Mariners are all tied up at 0 going into the bottom of the second. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium in a scoreless game. The bottom of the second is presented to you by Steak and Shake. So Gabriel Torres will take the mound once again for the Grand Lake Mariners, and batters he'll face of the Copperheads this inning will be Clayton Hodges, Josh Steidel, Jordan Long, the 6, 7, 8 batters for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, as they'll look to strike first here, as both teams right now through 1.5 innings have 2 hits apiece. So reflecting each other in a lot of ways thus far, as Gabriel Torres' first pitch to Hodges in for a ball. With Clayton Hodges, we actually saw his grandpa come in today, as he's come up all the way north to be able to go see Clayton.
It's always great, especially on these family weekends, and it is family weekend here, but all the players and their families able to come see what it's like to play in the home ballpark, and you don't quite get the same atmosphere watching us, unfortunately, on the TV, but
the 1-1 was chopped over to Luke Vonderhaar, who was able to make the play by giving it back to Torres just in time. Hodges showed great hustle trying to make it there, but fell just short for out number 1. So that'll bring on Josh Steidel, who, of course, in the first game against the Grand Lake Mariners, he absolutely dominated, getting a home run, a double, and a game-winning RBI sacrifice fly. And on the season against the Mariners, he is 3 for 11. So pretty solid output there for Josh Steidel, who's looking to work out of a cold streak.
last couple of days have been pretty tough for Josh at the plate, but nonetheless, he's still out there every day battling and got some good work in the cages the last couple of days as well, too.
The 1-0 is up high and outside for ball number 2 to Josh Steidel, where he had the day off yesterday during the doubleheader, which, of course, is always nice to get a day off every now and again, especially when you've been leaned upon to be an offensive focal point for this Copperhead squad. As the 2-0 pitch, it's on its way, and it's a deep drive out into right field. It has a chance to go. Will it make it? It is! Oh, did they catch it? And no, he did not. It's a home run. Josh Steidel with his 4th Hasta La Vista of the year. And Tim, for a second, I thought the right fielder might have robbed that one, but not at all, as Josh Steidel picks up the home run, his 2nd against the Mariners this season.
Donnie Goods got up against that wall there in right field and drifted back, jumped up with it. Good, perfect timing on that jump, but just not able to make the catch. Josh Steidel, welcome back.
And not surprised to see the welcome back happen against the team he got it all started against this year, which was the Grand Lake Mariners. And he's the first batter to really get the best of Gabriel Torres so far this year from this Copperhead staff, as Jordan Long is up to bat, swings and misses there for strike number 1. But Tim, you could feel everybody in Bob Wren Stadium kind of hold their breath, waiting to see if the right fielder potentially made that catch. But fortunately for the Copperheads, the ball was just out of his grasp and went over the wall. And for so many times, Tim, we've seen so many times where the Copperheads have had deep drives out into right field or left field or center field, and they fall just short, whether it's the wind stopping it or the ball just dying in the air. This time, it just seemed to carry.
Well, it's a team with a lot of power. I mean, if you look at the lineup, guys all up and down. We're talking about Gunnar Aldridge, Kyle Ratliff, Bam Thomas, Josh Steidel. I mean, there is power all over this lineup. So getting those exciting, loud fly balls kind of gets this crowd woke up a little bit.
100%, as Jordan Long is now up for the Copperheads, who has the 2nd highest batting average on the team over the last 7 days, chops it out to third base, and Voorhees, who throws it in time to Luke Vonderhaar for out number 2. So Copperheads, they are up 1-0 in this game after a big solo shot from Josh Steidel to right field. His 4th home run of the year. He leads the GLSCL now with Kyle Ratliff, Austin Deering, and a couple of guys from the North Division. And again, his home run in the first game against the Mariners ended up being a difference in that game. It was a 5-4 win for the Copperheads. And second game, Mariners got revenge and they won 11-1, but then the Copperheads returned the favor in game 3 and won 6-2. So it's been a very back and forth series, and one of 2 series that the Copperheads are leading on the year. They also lead the Xenia Scout Series 2-1, as they'll have a doubleheader coming up here later in July, about a week from today, as the 0-1 pitch is on his way to Carson Shepard and in for strike number 2. Gabriel Torres, trying to bounce back from the home run, delivers a couple of strikes.
First pitch, really nice inside across the plate. Second one sort of working back out. Another nice pitch there from Torres.
Yep, he got Carson Shepard swinging, so he goes down on strikes to retire the side, but not before the Copperheads could get on the board with a Josh Steidel shot out to right field. So the Copperheads are up 1-0 going into the top of the third. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the third inning here at Bob Wren Stadium, and the top of the third is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. So the Copperheads are able to strike first in the bottom of the second inning with a solo shot from Josh Steidel. And Tim, we really we didn't know whether it was going to be a home run or not. We saw the right fielder go up there, make the catch potentially, but then he came back, the glove was empty, and it was really exciting to see a home run right in front of this home crowd, really igniting everybody.
It was, and Josh Steidel, one of those guys that was due for one of those big hits, try to help him start to break out of that slump. And if that doesn't help him get out of that slump, Sedric, I don't know what will. That was a really nice hit ball out there to right field.
And the Copperheads are a much better team when Josh Steidel is on his game. That was his first hit since the 20th, as they got a new batter here for the Grand Lake Mariners. It's Elliot Cruson, who's the 7th batter for the Mariners, and he'll be followed up with Andrew Nicoluk and Sam Seeker, who are the 7, 8, 9 batters, who will all be due up this inning for the Grand Lake team that's down by 1, as there's a swing and miss. So quick strike number 2 for Cody Williams, who has now retired 4 straight batters, trying to make it 5 and add to another great start. He's one of those players where he was just an expert at getting out of those jams, Tim, where there's a couple of chances for the Joes where they had bases loaded or guys in scoring position, because he allowed about 7, 8, 9 hits, but he was still able to play really well with damage control and not give up many runs.
He was. He's, as we said earlier, he's pitched really well in his last couple of games and really come into his own now, making plays. And
there's a base hit to right field, as it's going to be a run for Rucker, and Rucker's going to try to throw it, and it's not going to be there. So it's going to be a sliding double for Elliot Cruson, the third hit of the day or second hit rather, of the Grand Lake Mariners. So he's on second, and Andrew Nicoluk will have that to work with. Andrew Nicoluk from Loyola Marymount University in Simi Valley, California, coming out east to play the Southern Ohio Copperheads in California to Ohio. As I joked about yesterday, seems like a far trip, but I think for the Big Ten Conference, it's not too bad. First pitch to Nicoluk. He shows bunt. It's fouled backwards for strike number 1, as Bam Thomas doing a good job coming up from his first base position. As you can look at the Copperheads defensive alignment in there. Wonderful gold jerseys today.
Yeah, Bam Thomas coming up from first, and Jordan Long going over there to cover first base on second. Carson Shepard over there locked at second base due to the runner out there.
0-1 on its way from Cody Williams, and right there on the money in the strike zone for strike number 2. So it'll be 0-2 to Nicoluk. And we saw the first time there was 2 strikes in the inning, Cody wasn't able to close the door. We'll see if he can do it right here. against Nicoluk.
Bam Thomas will slide back over to first. As the 0-2, you can't bunt.
0-2 is just outside of the zone for ball number 1 to Andrew Nicoluk, who is on a hot streak, batting .400 over the last 7 days. Been a hot bat for this Mariners team that's coming off of a loss to the Richmond Jazz, 3-14. As the Copperheads learned, that's not an easy place to play, and easy competition there in the Richmond Jazz, as they're always a tough out, as the 1-2 is fouled backwards. So we'll do it again at 1-2. And they're part of as we said in the intro, Tim, a 9-game road stretch, which is absolutely brutal. It started when the Mariners came to play the Copperheads about a week ago, and they've been on the road every game since, including a couple of doubleheaders. They'll have another doubleheader ahead of them tomorrow against the Xenia Scouts. So it doesn't get any easier for this Mariners squad. Copperheads had a couple of road games as well in a row, as it's going to be a pop fly high up into the air. Carson Shepard calls it, makes the catch, 1 down.
Good recovery at bat from Cody Williams. Gave up that big double there early in the inning and now came back, got a nice out. Pitched really well too, a nice sequence of heat and off-speed pitches.
Now comes one of the leaders of this Mariners squad, Sam Seeker, who's batting .190 on the year. 4 RBIs from Lincoln Trail College, and well, sure to be an all-star as a center fielder, as he knocks the first pitch into foul territory into the grass berm right next to the bullpen of the Mariners for strike number 1.
Yeah, Sam really jumps off the page compared to a lot of the other center fielders we've seen in the GLSCL. We've now seen every team a couple of times and start to recognize names when we get handed the lineup card by this point in the season. And one name that has jumped out to both of us in the booth so far this year has been Sam Seeker.
The 0-1 pitch skips across the ground for ball number 1, and he's been absolutely terrific. Made some insanely acrobatic catches in the first game that the Copperheads and Mariners played. I compared him to like a Seeker in Quidditch. If all my Harry Potter fans, if you get that reference there, they'd have to catch something called a snitch. And Sam Seeker does the same thing with catching baseballs out in his center field position. He had one play where he robbed Bam Thomas out of a sure hit, which would have scored runs for the Copperheads when they were down in that game 4-2. Copperheads ultimately ended up coming back and winning that game. Really exciting opening night as the 1-1 pitch is on its way, and it looks like it's popped high up in the air. And Adoni is there, makes the catch. 2 down in the inning with 1 runner on. Copperheads up 1-0. And for Nadoni, he's been one of the best fielders for the Copperheads all year, has a 100% field percentage.
Nice thing about that there is now with 2 outs, sacrifice fly will not advance the runner. So going to have to get a base hit, something hard hit out of the infield to advance the base runner, Elliot Cruson.
Donnie Goods is back up for his second at-bat of the day. Had a strikeout in the first inning. And now he'll take the bat at top of the 3rd. Looks like no swing there as the umpire says he did not go. So that's ball number 1 to Donnie Goods with 1 runner on in a 1-0 game in favor of the Southern Ohio Copperheads, who scored in the second inning off of a solo home run from Josh Steidel, just going over the right field wall in exciting fashion, where everybody in the stadium held their breath as they waited for the verdict. As the 1-0 pitch, it's on its way. It's popped up into foul territory and into the grass berm. Look out, all the people sitting there. And there's a parent out there that fields it on 1 hop. Impressive work.
Always love to see the athleticism of dads at a ballpark. You see all the videos going viral of the dad holding the baby and a beer and still able to catch the home run or catch the foul ball. So always fun to look around the ballpark and see that.
Yeah, some true legends at the ballpark, whether moms or dads alike, as there's a pass ball from Cody Williams, and the runner will advance into scoring position at 3rd base. So Elliot Cruson takes advantage of the pass ball, and there's been a fair share of pass balls and wild pitches. That's one thing that really killed the Copperheads yesterday, were a series of pass balls and wild pitches, and that really dug their grave against that Xenia Scouts team.
Yes, it did. 3 straight runs scored on, I believe it was 4 balls drove in 3 runs, and it was a difficult half inning of baseball yesterday to watch, but the team shook it off, and their back came ready to play today. So we should see, and as we have already, a different result from this team. Got to rest up a little bit, didn't have to report to the ballpark till about 4 o'clock, which is a lot different than getting up for those 11 o'clock noon buses and then sitting there for 3 hours.
It is. It definitely is difficult. And, again, being a broadcast crew that gets to travel with the team, we really get to kind of track the morale of the team and track how, if everyone's rested, how everyone's feeling, how's the attitude on the bus, how's the attitude on the ride back. And, again, it's really tough on a player to have to wake up and do that. That's why I can't even imagine what the Mariners must be going through right now, having 9 straight road games. Copperheads had a stretch where they had 4 straight, I believe, but
yeah,
9 is crazy.
We talked about that before the game, too, how difficult that was.
Deep drive to center field, no problem for Kyle Ratliff, and that retires the side with 1 runner left on in scoring position. Good work from Cody Williams, working out of the potential scoring that could have happened for the Mariners. So good work from the Copperheads as they maintain their lead 1-0 going into the bottom of the 3rd. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning, and the bottom of the 3rd is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. Copperheads up 1-0 over the Mariners as they've grabbed the bats now, as it'll be Trey Rucker, Gunnar Aldridge, Kyle Ratliff, the 1-2-3 in the order, who'll be up to bat in this inning for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, trying to increase this lead, as in this series the Copperheads have only averaged 4 runs, and they'll try to increase that total against number 44, Gabriel Torres, who delivers the first pitch a little bit off the mark for ball number 1 to Trey Rucker, who has a strikeout earlier in the day back in the 1st inning, as the 1-0 pitch on its way inside for ball number 2.
Trey Rucker, not a ton of strikeouts on the year, so I think the early game yips kind of got to him. The crowd was absolutely electric here when we were getting ready to get the game started. The Passion Works presented Trevor with his own special jersey for all the hard work that he did to make this day so special. So the team kind of rallied around him as they support him and a lot. So it was really nice, and I think the yips kind of got to him.
Yep, there's a chopper out to Andrew Nicoluk, the shortstop, who threw it to Luke Vonderhaar for out number 1. And that'll bring on Gunnar Aldridge, who had a single and then was retired at second base ultimately in the 1st inning. But a player that's done very well over the last couple of games. He's 2 for 10 against the Mariners, has a home run as well. His only homer of the year was back in game number 1 against Grand Lake, as he takes strike number 1, as Gabriel Torres worked the inside there of the strike zone. So it's 0-1. 0-1 way up high, as I think he wanted that to get some down breaking on it. Didn't work for him. So ball number 1, but his catcher, Ty Davis, did a good job standing up to adjust to the ball. The 1-1 on its way, and it's going to be hit out into shallow right field and falls down for another base hit, as Gunnar Aldridge has just been absolutely on fire as of lately, as he has to slide back to first, as he almost got caught trying to move a little bit to the next base, but he does a great job sliding back in. And 2 for 2 already for Gunnar Aldridge, and it just seems like he's really found his stride.
He has. He's been hitting really well the last couple of games after a really slow start to the year. went 2 for 6 with a run and a triple yesterday. Hitting 222 after he started the year hitting in the low ones, low 120, 111, 112. So
first pitch to Kyle Ratliff is in for a strike. Gabriel Torres, he tends to work the edges of the zone, especially that outside one, and he does a great job there with the 1 strike. But he's working against Kyle Ratliff, who already has a hit against him. There's a pickoff attempt over to Gunnar Aldridge, who slides in safely. So no harm, no foul there, but Kyle Ratliff did pick up a single earlier, which advanced Gunnar Aldridge, and then he was ultimately retired at first base. But whenever you can get Kyle Ratliff on the base path, you know he's ever so dangerous. He steals a lot of bases. He's one of the fastest players on the team, and he's been able to make a huge difference for the Copperheads. Even had times where he's walked or hit a single and then has been able to get all the way into scoring position on his own, as the 0-1 pitch is down low, and that's ball number 1.
Yeah, Ratliff 7 stolen bases on the year. Another shifty guy. Part of the reason they keep him near the top of that lineup is, as you said, Sedric, once he gets on base, he can really take advantage of some of these pitchers and catchers.
The 1-1 as Gunnar Aldridge goes. The throw is outside, and he's able to make it safely to the plate as Ty Davis's throw to Tucker Hagan at second base was a little bit too far to the left and drew him off the bag. So Copperheads are able to steal their first base of the day, and they'll put Gunnar Aldridge on second. Pitch was in for a strike, though, so it's now 1-2 to Kyle Ratliff. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed for strike number 3. So Kyle Ratliff this time goes down on strikes. So that's 2 down in the inning with 1 runner on, Gunnar Aldridge at second base. And now Ashton Bam Thomas will take the stage here, and we'll see what Bam can do. The last time he was up, he fouled out into foul territory.
Bam Thomas.
Be huge for him to get a hit here, score Gunnar Aldridge. We've talked so much about leaving runners on base.
Bam takes the first pitch from Torres for ball number 1. And Copperheads, they had a couple of really frustrating situations last game where they had guys on third base or a runner that attempted to steal and got caught on his way to third base, and it really cost them in that game against the Zinga Scouts where, although the score was 15-5, Tim, it was a lot closer going into the bottom of the 6th inning. I mean, it was 5-6. Copperheads had all the momentum in the game. They were really in it.
They did, scored in that 4th or the 5th and the 6th inning in that game yesterday to give them their 5, and then unfortunately the game just kind of slipped out of their hands. Allowed, I believe it was 6 or 7 runs before they even recorded the first out, and were unable to get it done in that game.
2-0 is up too high, just barely, for ball number 3. So it's been 3 pitches, 3 balls for a pitcher that does not walk a lot of runners. He only has a trio of walks to 18 strikeouts on the year. Pretty good output for a guy who's switched permanently here to pitcher, it seems like, for this Mariners squad. They saw him as a first baseman in game number 1, where he went 0 for 3 with an RBI on a sac fly against the Copperheads in the opening night game. And then ever since then, he's been just doing mostly pitching for his squad, which a lot of teams, again, have low depth as the 3-1 pitch is outside, or inside rather, and low for ball number 4. So Bam Thomas will walk. He gets on base. So 2 runners on, Gunnar Aldridge at second, Thomas at first, and that's what Mason Nadoni will have to work with, who's batting .318 this year for the junior at a Concordia University. Copperheads once again wearing gold alternates this year, and there'll be some of those jerseys available for auction as he absolutely harpoons it out into left field. And Gunnar Aldridge is rounding third, and he's going to get home. Bam Thomas rounding third. He's asked to keep running. Bam Thomas coming in, and that's going to be a 2 RBI double for Mason Nadoni.
What a well-hit ball out there right down that line. Absolutely rode the foul line all the way down into that left field corner over by the bullpen. Elliot Cruson not able to get a hold of that one, and Bam Thomas turned on the wheels to get around from first base.
Sure did. Had the big stride, standing at 6'4", able to get around the base paths, as well as Gunnar Aldridge, who also scored as a result. Just a beautifully hit ball from Mason Nadolny, and he's been absolutely terrific this whole season. Has the highest batting average on the squad, been a model of consistency at third base, and now the hitting is also starting to really come up to match that defense, which is fantastic. So Copperheads up 3-0 as Clayton Hodges is now up with one runner on, Mason Nadolny at second, and Hodges went out on a ground out, so looking for hit number 1 of the day in front of some of his family who made the trip, of course, up from Jacksonville, Florida, as he attends Jacksonville University. He's driven in 5 RBIs, and will try to drive into 6. The 1-0 pitch is going to be a deep drive out into left center field. It might have a shot over the wall. No, it falls just short, but it's going to be down for a base hit, and it's going to score a runner. That's RBI number 6 for Clayton Hodges, and in front of his family, he makes the big play. It's 4-0 Copperheads, Tim.
Cedric, this is the best sequence of hitting we've seen from the Copperheads in well over a week. Taking advantage of those situational hittings, finding their pitch, getting on base, and then getting those guys home who are on base. 3 runs already in this inning.
It is, and it's impressive whenever you work in the left center field or right center field or anywhere in Sam Seeker's zone, it can be tough to get a ball to go down. So well done by Clayton Hodges, just really getting it together. And it'll bring on the ever so dangerous Josh Steidel, who already has a homer on the day, and he'll work with one runner on at second base in the bottom of the 3rd inning in what's been a really emphatic inning. And Tim, it just feels refreshing for the Copperhead squad. We haven't seen something like this in quite a long while from this squad.
Yes, it has, and the home crowd rallying behind him too. All the guys, they continue to talk about how great it is to play in front of this crowd here at Bob Wren, and I think today's game kind of gave them a little bit of new life so far in this, seeing the full crowd here and hearing them rally behind them, help them chirp a little bit at the opposing teams and the umpires, and it really is, it's a great environment here today.
The 1-0 is down low and inside for ball number 2 to Josh Steidel. And to put this in perspective, Tim, last time that Gabriel Torres pitched against the Copperheads, he only gave up 1 hit, gave up only 4 hits, 1 run. Right now, the Copperheads in the bottom of the 3rd have 6 hits and 4 runs as the 2-0 pitch is down low away from the zone for ball number 3. And Josh Steidel in a really solid hitters count. We'll see if we see a big swing from him here, with the Copperheads now nursing a 4-run lead here at home at Bob Wren Stadium, one of their largest leads in a while. And that's in for a strike as Steidel decided to force Torres there to show that he can throw a strike. He does. So now it'll be a 3-1 count, still in favor of Josh.
Allows him to see that timing too, as he knows Torres is going to have to work that zone, give him something to hit.
Now the count is full after the ball was fouled out towards the dugout of the Grand Lake Mariners, and they'll take a break as one of the Mariners players is going to run over there to pick the ball up, and we'll get started once again as we have a very, very nice crowd here for Turn It Gold night on a beautiful evening, as it was up in the high 80s early this afternoon as the 3-2 pitch payoff is off the mark for ball number 4. That's a walk for Josh Steidel, so 2 runners on for the Copperheads, but it really cooled down once that little, almost like storm kind of came through, but we didn't get any rain, which was absolutely terrific, and it just cooled the temperature down to an absolutely comfortable place.
It did, Cedric. When you and I got to the ballpark today, it was pretty toasty, and we were able to open up the window after a while here in the press box.
So with 2 outs, 2 runners on, Jordan Long takes the stage here for the Copperheads. He had a ground out back in the 2nd inning, and Copperheads have seen 7 batters so far. This is batter number 8 of the inning. Jordan Long swings and misses there, and it's going to be a 1-1 count for number 7.
Jordan Long getting his first chance to play in a couple of days on the offense. Saw him pitch a 1/3 of an inning last night.
The 1-1 is in for strike number 2, as it's good work working that right side of the zone. That seems to be where Torres likes to go. 4 o'clock, it'd be at 5 o'clock. And Jordan Long calls time, allows the runners to settle themselves, as well as Jordan Long to check out the swing. And 2 outs in the inning, Torres will try to forced the Copperheads to leave a couple of batters on as there's already been damage done. And there's a swing and a miss there. Torres gets out of the inning, but not before the Copperheads could put up 3 runs in an emphatic inning. Mason Nadolny, Bam Thomas, Gunnar Aldridge all score. Clayton Hodges picks up the RBI as well for the Copperheads. And Copperheads have it working, have it cooking here at Bob Wrenn Stadium. Copperheads up 4-0. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 4th inning here at Bob Wrenn Stadium. Top of the 4th inning is presented to you by Ohio Health. Copperheads were able to put up a trio of runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It was a Gunnar Aldridge and Bam Thomas scoring off of a 2 RBI double from Mason Nadolny, then a 1 RBI double from Clayton Hodges scored Mason Nadolny. So Copperheads have been able to put up a lot of solid offensive numbers. They average only 4 runs against the Mariners in each of their games so far this season. So already at that average, and we're only 3 innings in. So for the Copperheads still, it'll be Cody Williams, who has a pair of strikeouts on the day. He was able to get out of the inning, only threw 4 batters. A couple of flyouts really helped him out. He got a lot of situations where players were forced into 2-strike situations, and he was able to trust his fielding a lot and get some outs.
It is, yeah, and being able to throw strikes and get into those 1-2, 0-2 counts is something that is going to be huge for not only Cody in this game, but the rest of the pitching staff moving forward. Being able to throw strikes and make these hitters kind of work for it a little bit in those defensive counts and allowing your defense behind you to do work. We've already seen some spectacular plays from Trey Rucker, Kyle Ratliff. Clayton Hodges made a play out there as well.
It's going to be a high bunt, and right there is Steidel to make the catch, and that's 1 down in the inning. Steidel showing some excellent awareness, and when you have one of those masks on, of course, as a catcher, that can be sometimes tough to kind of have that spatial awareness to know, but Josh Steidel made it look easy.
They do, and they kind of block your vision a little bit on your peripherals as well as like your up and down vision. Kind of gives you a bit of a tunnel to look through, but Steidel able to pop up quickly, get that mask, and be aware of his surroundings.
So Tucker Hagan down on the first pitch on a fly out to Josh Steidel at his catcher position, and Luke Vonderhaar will now be up here for his team. He hit into a double play the last time he was up to retire the side in the 1st inning, and they'll say that he went. It's a strike, so it's 1-1 now to Vonderhaar out of Baldwin Wallace College, New Bremen, Ohio. Still looking for hit number 1 against the Southern Ohio Copperheads as he swings, and it's right down Broadway, and it will be down for a base hit, so he does get that first hit. So it'll be 1 runner on with 1 out. Copperheads still nursing a 4-0 lead as Vonderhaar was able to find some room in center field.
Just hit it in between the gaps there as the Copperheads did in that last inning. Now the Mariners able to do here, find those gaps in the defense to get those easy base hits. Well, after a while, Sedric, these easy base hits start to add up. We saw the Copperheads just put up 3 in that inning.
They most certainly do. Well, the Copperheads also had a couple of doubles in there, which also helped them get around as they've had a pair of doubles and a home run, really increasing that slugging percentage as there's a drive into right field for another base hit. And looks like the runners will remain on 2nd and 1st. Good work from Rucker and Carson Shepard on damage control. So it'll be 2 runners on for the Grand Lake Mariners, looking to break their 4-game losing streak. They're tied with the Lima Locos for the longest the longest losing streak right now in the GLSCL, as surprisingly enough, Lima was a team that looked like they were about to dominate their division, and now they're almost near the bottom as they've lost 4 straight and have only won 2 out of their last 8. Same as the Copperheads, or 2 out of their last 10 rather, and the Copperheads are in the same sort of boat here, 2 out of their last 10. But with the way they are playing today, it gives me a lot of hope for the future, especially with the Mariners going on such a big road stretch. And again, they're starting to stack up some losses. If the Copperheads can win this one, they might have a chance to be able to gain some ground here on the Mariners at least. And you just got to take it one team at a time as that ball is uncorked into left field. And we'll see what Hodges can do. Can he throw it in time? He does throw it to Nadolny to prevent the runners from going any farther. But now with 1 out, 3 runners on, Cody Williams will have to do it again, working out of a jam. We saw him do this against the Joes, and we're able to get out of it. And Cody Williams, if there's any way to describe him, it's the bend but not break pitcher, where he'll give up some hits, but he's been able to really come through in opportune moments, and he'll have to do so now.
And he trusts what he throws, too. He's confident in his fastball, confident in what breaking stuff he does tend to use. Doesn't use a ton of it. Mostly gets in there and talks about wanting to be able to pound the zone and stuff like that. But definitely confident in what he throws as well, so that's huge.
We've seen a trio of singles in this inning for the Mariners, and Ty Davis will now take the plate here for the Mariners. He has a strikeout back in the 2nd inning, which retired the side. And he's working in a very advantageous position with 3 runners on, but for the Copperheads, this potentially can turn on the double play, as we saw earlier today, as does not swing at that one. They're going to look. They're going to say he did not, so it's a 1-1 count to Davis. Mariners are a team that is known for forcing walks, as they have one of the highest amount of walks forced totals with 105 at the midway point of the season, as the 1-1 pitch on its way from Williams, chopper fouled right towards the Mariners dugout, and it'll be 1-2 with 1 out, bases loaded here for the Mariners, trying to get on the board in the top of the 4th inning.
Hard hit ground ball in the infield, definitely the potential for a double play. If not, you'll probably see the first play coming towards home to prevent that runner coming across.
1-2 pitch. It's a drive into center field. Ratliff makes the catch. He's going to take a big throw. If he's going to want to hold the runners back, he won't be able to, so it'll be an RBI sac fly. But on the bright side for the Copperheads, it's 2 down in the inning, and they're still up 4-1.
Yeah, still nursing that lead, and just a well-hit ball there from Ty Davis. And still only 1 runner in scoring position, but takes away that sac fly opportunity now, so will have to be a ball in play to advance those runners.
So Elliot Cruson will be up here, as Elliot Cruson hit a double the first time he was up. Only Mariner with a extra base hit in a 4-1 game, with the Copperheads in the lead on Turned Gold Day, wearing their gold alternates, which will be auctioned off to be able to raise money for Passionworks Studios, as well as Turn It Gold, who pairs with Passionworks Studios, local charities here in Athens. As it's now a 1-0 count to Elliot Cruson. Cruson, one of the players from the Ivy League, Dartmouth College. And he throws it in for a strike. Good work from Williams. So it's now 1-1 with 2 outs. Runner on second, runner on first. Jackson Howard's the runner on first. Voorhees on second. For the 9-11 Grand Lake Mariners, who sit at 6th place. It's the 4th time in the last 5 games the Copperheads are playing a 6th place team in the GLSCL. That's how tight it's been up top. As there's another strike, as there's a swing and miss. Bam Thomas unable to make the catch there at first base, but no harm, no foul, no runners advance as a result. And it's now 1-2 as Cody Williams has a chance to get out of this inning for the Southern Ohio Copperheads.
Look him to work something inside the zone, but maybe a little bit farther down and outside. See if he can get him to chase one down there. He's in a 1-2 count, so definitely a pitcher's count.
1-2 is up high for ball number 2 to Cruson.
Breaking ball just didn't quite break. Maybe like he wanted to on that one.
Cody Williams sets up at the mound. Got a couple of strikeouts on the day. Cody Williams has 2 of them. Gabriel Torres has 3 of them, or actually 4 of them rather, in this little pitcher's duel. It's a 2-2 count. And Cody Williams sets, delivers the pitch, and just a little too high. So it'll be a payoff pitch coming with 2 runners on, 2 outs in a 4-1 game in favor of the Copperheads, who scored in the 2nd inning off of a solo home run from Josh Steidel just over the right field wall, about 360 feet, I'd say. Maybe 361 feet. He just got the extra footage that he needed as he got the 3-2 pitch on its way. It's going to be chopper right to Bam Thomas. Bam Thomas has some trouble corralling it, and he's unable to get the out. So tough break there for the Copperheads as they had a chance to get out of the inning, and things did not work out there for Bam. So bases will be loaded for the Mariners, and that'll bring on Andrew Nicoluk, the 8th batter in the lineup for the Mariners with bases loaded.
Tough break there for Bam. Probably score that one an error. Just not able to corral that one in. Kind of took a weird hop late. He was getting ready to field it with his glove kind of out in front of him, and that last hop kind of went off to the side and wasn't able to hold on to that one. Tough break for the Copperheads.
First pitch over to Nicoluk is an absolute missile out to left field, but Hodges is there, makes the catch, retires the side with only 1 run given up. So on Turn It Gold night, the Copperheads defense, for the most part, has been golden as they lead 4-1 going into the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the fourth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the fourth inning is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. As Carson Shepard's the first batter up, he uncorks one into left field, and the catch is made. So it's one down in the inning for the Southern Ohio Copperheads as Carson Shepard goes down on the fly out, and Trey Recker will be due upcoming this inning. During the break in between the start of the fourth and the end of the bottom of the fourth inning, the Southern Ohio Copperheads organization ended up making some references here. Again, there were some people with Passionworks Studios. Brianna Wallace, who was a childhood cancer survivor, presented a Gold Garden Passionwork flower from Passionworks Studios to the family of Kyle Rudder. Kyle is currently undergoing chemotherapy, so he could not make it to tonight's game. Last month, Kyle graduated from Athens High School, and at the end of his sophomore year, he was unfortunately diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma after the discovery of a tumor in his leg. After 9 months of chemotherapy and several surgeries, Kyle had no evidence of disease for 1 year, and Kyle recently learned that his cancer has returned. So his treatment plan included a year of chemotherapy and radiation, and prior to his diagnosis, Kyle, of course, he loved football, basketball, baseball. He played all of those sports, and he enjoys hanging out with his friends, hunting, fishing, playing video games, and having Brianna Wallace be able to be there and present the Passionworks flowers to Kyle's family, of course, was a really big deal. And again, cancer affects a lot of different families. It affected mine as well, as I lost my mother due to cancer about 6 years ago in July of 2016, and I'd like to acknowledge Colette Elaine Granger, who really set the groundwork for me a lot as the man that I've become today, and I'm very thankful for her presence on my life. And I know that every single one of the people, of course, that work with Passionworks Studios who are enduring cancer or have lost people to cancer, Passionworks Studios, one of the great things that they do is they help people remember that no matter what occurs, even if you have some places where you're not able to be able to do the things that you might have been able to do, they really focus on ableism as the mindset. So even when a student may not be able to walk, for example, they can still make wonderful art with the abilities that they can do. So, yeah, we wanted to take this bottom of the fourth inning just to really talk about that, Tim, of course, because, again, it's a topic where it's touched my family and it's touched a lot of families here in Southeast Ohio.
Yeah, very special opportunity that we at the Copperheads have been given to be able to work with such a wonderful organization. They work with Ohio athletics throughout the year, too, to just do such great work and bring such joy to the families in this community, kids that don't live a normal life like the rest of us were able to. So it's just awesome that we've been able to honor some of these kids at this game. And Kyle, if you're listening, get better soon, man. We can't wait to see you out here at Bob Wren.
Of course. And Kyle's mom, Jessica, shared a couple of thoughts about Kyle, and she said, Kyle, you're the strongest person I know. He is a true hero. You don't know what strength is until you see your child battle such a terrible disease and still smile along the way. So, again, all of our people that are listening with us, including all the fans as well, we acknowledge you, Kyle, and everybody who's been affected by cancer, and hope to have healing, as well as everybody being able to come together to support those that are enduring these diseases. But Copperheads, they go down 1-2-3 in the inning, so we'll take a short break as Copperheads still up 4-1 on Turn It Gold Day, as the Copperheads are raising money to help people who are battling cancer, as well as to support Passionworks Studios and Turn It Gold. It's the top of the fifth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium, and the top of the fifth inning is presented to you by Jackie O's Brewery. So all of our fans over the age of 21, try out the Homer's Hazy IPA. Enjoy that beverage. Copperheads still up 4-1 as we go into the fifth inning, as the Copperheads went down 1-2-3 in the fourth. It was Carson Shepard, Trey Rucker, Gunnar Aldridge all going down. And here in this inning, it's the 9-1-2 batters for the Mariners. Sam Seeker up to bat first as there's a pass ball, so it'll be ball number 2 to Seeker. But Donnie Goods, Tucker Hagan also due up in the inning for the Mariners, who were able to get something going in the fourth inning and are going to look to keep that momentum riding here into the fifth inning.
Bit of a scare last inning as had the bases loaded, not able to get all those runs across, left them loaded in that inning. So good job by Cody Williams and this defense to really buckle down after getting some singles, giving up some singles rather.
So the 2-0 pitch was fouled off for strike number 1, so now it's going to be 2-1 to Sam Seeker, and that ball just misses the outside of the zone. And now it's going to be 3-1 to Sam Seeker, who's a lefty batter here for the Copperheads, which are lefty batter here for the Mariners, and that can add some tough things when going against a lefty batter, especially if you are a righty pitcher like Cody Williams. There's ever you have opposite hands going against each other, it can create some tough situations, as being a lefty batter is one of the most advantageous things to do if you are a batter.
It does, and we've seen the Copperheads use their lefty batters to try and get at some of these right-handed pitchers. We saw a pretty left-handed heavy lineup a couple of games ago to try and get things going. Blanking on the date, I apologize to the fans, but yeah, it's definitely a thing, especially when you're coming up with a strategy for these games.
So we saw ball number 4 there to Sam Seeker. He's been walked 11 times for a Mariners team that really produces a lot of walks. That's really helped them to be able to put up high numbers, even though they have the lowest batting average in the league. As we got the hot dog hitter who grounds it to Carson Shepard. Shepard tries to throw it to first to turn 1. He is able to turn 1. Good job by Carson Shepard. Playing shortstop for only the second time in what's been about the last 2 weeks, because ever since Maverick Stallings been here, Carson Shepard shifted over to second, and Stallings has not had a day off, so good for Stallings to get himself a break, and Carson Shepard doing a solid job holding down the fort just like he did in Game 1 against the Mariners.
He does, and he's comfortable playing that position, but Maverick Stallings probably with a much-needed day of rest. He sat out that first game yesterday, first game of the doubleheader, as he was technically ineligible because he wasn't on the roster when that game began, when those lineup cards were turned in. So got the first half of yesterday's game off as well.
Tucker Hagan is now up for the Mariners as he has a single and a fly out. So 1 for 2 on the day as Williams delivers the pitch in for strike number 1. So if one down in the inning, one runner on, Copperheads will try to continue the great fielding, as it's only been one major mistake so far today. But other than that, it's been pretty clean here for the Copperheads. And like I was saying earlier today, one of the biggest differences in the game is you see strike number 2. In the 6-2 win for the Copperheads against the Mariners was errors. There was 5 errors, if I recall right, from the Mariners, and they just had trouble catching the ball at first base.
They did. A bit of a struggle to field things cleanly on first base.
Yeah, I believe that was Montana.
Adam Ebling and Daniel Montana just not on the same page on that third to first connection. Brandon Green also struggled a little bit behind the plate in that game, just not being able to fully control all the balls, and missed a couple of throwdowns as well. Copperheads able to take advantage of those things and come away with the win in that one.
Copperheads doing a solid job of taking advantage of teams' mistakes as the 1-2 pitch on its way. It's going to be hit out to Jordan Long. Jordan Long picks up the ball, delivers it out to Bam Thomas, and that's 2 down. But Sam Seeker, the leadoff runner here, will advance to third.
Number 27,
Luke Vonderhaar, the number 3 hitter. Dangerous bat when you get him going.
Certainly is. He has 3 home runs this season, which is tied for second in the league. He was tied for Josh Steidel coming into this game until he saw the big solo shot in the second inning, and he'll get a chance here as you see the first pitch is upstairs for ball number 1 to Luke Vonderhaar, who hit into a double play and also got a single, and he also is the only runner to score today for the Grand Lake Mariners out of Salina, Ohio. And they got a beautiful lake up there. We got to see it about a week and a half ago, and It's absolutely beautiful, and the Copperheads will get one more chance up there in Grand Lake to face the Mariners on the knife as the 1-1 pitch is going to be hit. Jordan Long tries to dive and make the play. He can't, so it'll be an RBI single for Vonderhaar.
Well hit ball through the infield. Jordan Long did everything he could to make a play on that. Fortunately, just hit too much into the gap, past the outstretched glove of Jordan Long. Nice hit ball by Luke Vonderhaar.
So just like we've seen back in Game 1, it looks like we have a really competitive game starting to brew here at Bob Wren Stadium between the Mariners and the Copperheads. A team the Copperheads have gotten the better of, but whenever it's been a revenge game spot, the Mariners have been able to come through. Copperheads so far, though, in control, 4-2. With one runner on, it is Manny Voorhees who's up. Manny Voorhees had a hit where he was tagged out trying to get to second base and then had a single in the 4th inning for his day. And he took the first pitch for a ball as Cody Williams, pitching into his 5th inning, sets up at the mound, delivers it right into Steidl as the runner goes, but no one's there to cover. And it'll be a base now for Luke Vonderhaar, who advances to second, as it looked like the communication there and the coverage of the stolen base was not there. So really great timing by Vonderhaar to see his opportunity and go.
Yeah, Jordan Long, Carson Shepard not quite on the same page as to who was going to cover on the steal attempt there, and Vonderhaar took advantage of it.
Cody Williams looks back at Vonderhaar, sets up at the mound, delivers the pitch into Steidl's glove for strike number 2. Cody Williams having a quality start here. 5 innings pitched, which is exactly what you want to see, or I guess 4 2/3 rather, almost 5. And that's just what you want to see from a Copperheads pitcher, get really quality starts out here, and that's why he's been able to crack that starting lineup as the 1-2 pitch is fouled backwards. So stay 1-2.
Just needs to continue to attack that zone. Only needs one more strike to get out of this inning and give the Copperheads a chance to kind of re-wake those bats up. A quick 1-2-3 in that last inning. Going to have to do their best to get Torres off the mound and start to work into that bullpen for the Mariners.
Manny Voorhees out of Northern Kentucky University will face a 1-2 count with one runner on in a 4-2 ball game in favor of the Copperheads as that pitch is outside. As it looked like Cody Williams tried to work the outside there to see if Voorhees would swing at that, but he decides to stay disciplined. So it'll be a 2-2 count with 2 outs on a beautiful evening right now in Athens, Ohio, home of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. As you got the crowd getting into it, as you see some claps as the 2-2 pitch will be on its way. And did he swing? They say he did not swing, as it looked like that Voorhees might have turned around there, and the umpires disagree, as a lot of fans aren't going to like that call, Tim, to say the least.
I mean, even Voorhees started to walk away like he got caught swinging. Home plate umpire pointed at the field ump, and I guess we'll get another chance to do this.
Well, it'll be 3-2 again as Voorhees gets another chance. The 3-2 pitch on its way. It's going to be hit in between first and second base. Shepard unable to get it as his glove falls off trying to make the play. And we saw that a little bit in the first game against the Mariners. That was the season opener where we had a couple of errors from Carson Shepard at short as he was just not taking his time. But fortunate break for the Coppers when they thought they could have got a strikeout, and mentally you're like, oh, we got out of this inning, and then to have to do it again once you mentally thought you win. It's like winning a game and then you get a flag that comes in and says, oh, you got to redo the play.
Have to kind of reset things mentally here. Just remind yourself that the inning's not over, and something they'll have to continue to do to avoid those big innings like we've seen in other games.
So second error for the Copperheads as Jackson Howard swings and misses on that pitch from Cody Williams for strike number 1, with runners on the corners for the Mariners, down 4-2 in this game for GLSCL South 6th place. Or Copperheads do have a long way to go to get to that spot, but not as far as you might think. As the pitch is in for strike number 2, we'll have the standings coming up to you at the bottom of the 5th inning when the Copperheads get back to bat. But for now, They got to finish off this inning, and it starts with Cody Williams getting one more strike against Jackson Howard. The 0-2 swings and misses, and they're able to get out of the inning. Cody Williams once again doing a great job of damage control. May give up a few hits, but won't give up a lot of runs as the Copperheads maintain their lead 4-2 going into the bottom of the fifth. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the fifth inning, and the bottom of the fifth is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Copperheads are up 4-2, but let's take a look at the standings. Tim, take it away.
Hamilton Joes had the night off last night, still sitting at first place in the GLSCL South with a 13-7 record. Cincinnati Steam move up into that second place spot at 12-10, just sitting 2 games back behind the Joes. But behind that, there's a nice cluster of teams, the Richmond Jazz, Xenia Scouts, and Licking County Settlers, all within a game and a half of each other for that second playoff spot. Then these 2 teams we'll see here, the Grand Lake Mariners sitting at 9-11, 4 games back, and then of course the Southern Ohio Copperheads down there at the bottom, 6-12, only 6 games back, 4 games back from that second playoff spot. So a nice roll for the Copperheads could definitely propel them up the standings.
As we see a pair of foul balls from the leadoff batter of this inning, Kyle Ratliff, who has a single and a strikeout, so 1 for 2 on the day. Bam Thomas and Mason Nadolny will also be due up in the inning for the Copperheads team up 4-2. And we'll also do some scoreboard watching as the Xenia Scouts are up 6-0 over the Hamilton Joes in the top of the 6th. We'll keep an eye on that as there's a grounder out to third base. Is it fielded? Ratliff is fast, though. Can he make it in time? No, they got him. The throw beat him as Manny Voorhees absolutely fired a rocket to Luke Vonderhaar. So that's 1 down in the inning. Yeah, but with the updates, Licking County Settlers, they are final as they beat the Richmond Jazz 9-6. So that'll help the Settlers in that race for the second spot, and might be a race for the top spot if Hamilton falls today, as Xenia giving them all they can handle out there at Grady's Field, which is where the Copperheads were at yesterday, and they took 1 out of 2 in that doubleheader, won the first game, the same score that we see right now, 4-2. And then they lost the second game, 5-15, as Bam Thomas is up. Torres still on the mound. Bam Thomas fouls it backwards. Third foul we've seen out of 4 pitches that have been thrown by Gabriel Torres. And it's now 0-1 to Bam Thomas, who has a foul out and then also reached in the third on a walk and was able to get all the way around on a 2 RBI double for Mason Nadolny. Took the second pitch in for a strike, so now it's 0-2 with 1 down in the inning for Ashton Bam Thomas. Torres sets, and it's going to be a chopper out to shortstop Tucker Hagan. Hagan throws it out to Luke Vonderhaar, and that's 2 down in the inning.
Copperheads will need to string together a couple hits like they did in that second and third inning.
So Matt Friesen stepping into the game in the space of Mason Nadolny. So we'll see some position switches here as Matt Friesen will play the third base position, as he's usually played catcher, and we'll get a nice shot there as we'll see the substitution. Matt Friesen, guy who did have a hit against the Mariners back in that game in Grand Lake when not a lot of players could get anything going. He hit a double, if my memory serves me correctly. And we'll see what Matt Friesen can do. He's batting 111 on the year, driven in 1 RBI, went 0 for 4 in the doubleheader, but 1 for 1 against the Mariners. But he took the first pitch from Torres for a strike, as he'll try to beat Torres again, as it's an 0-1 pitch to him, and it's outside for ball number 1. Friesen, another Minnesota man, replacing another Minnesota guy from St. Cloud. As there's going to be a deep drive into center field. Sam Seeker should be no problem for him. He's one of the best center fielders in the league and shows why there with the catch. And that's 3 quick down in the inning, so that's 6 straight batters that go down for the Copperheads. And when we come back for the Grand Lake Mariners, it'll be Jackson Hauer, Ty Davis, Elliot Cruzen, who will be due up in the inning. Actually, make that Ty Davis, Elliot Cruzen, Andrew Nicoluk due in the inning, rather. You listen to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 6th inning here, and the top of the 6th is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Copperheads up 4-2, as they'll have some changes here in their defensive alignment in the field, as well as at the pitching position here, as the new pitcher is Adam Beery coming in, making an appearance. And also, Tim, there is some positional switches in the field, in the infield and outfield alike.
Matt Friesen coming in at third base, a new position for him this summer. He'll be taking over from Mason Nadolny at third base, and then Diego Ortiz coming in, taking over for Trey Rucker out there in right field.
So we see a couple of switches, as first pitcher Beery will deal with. It's a pass ball that went over the head of number 12, Ty Davis, who is first up this inning, and he'll be followed up by Elliot Cruzen and Andrew Nicoluk. The 6, 7, 8 in this Mariners lineup is trying to eat into the lead, as they've been able to do so little by little since the Copperheads took a 4-0 lead in the third. And now we see a foul backwards, so it'll be 2-2 to Ty Davis, who has a strikeout and an RBI sac fly for his totals on the day. Adam Beery, a sophomore, plays right here at Ohio University from Ravenna, Ohio. And he's had a couple of appearances, 3 of them to be exact. This is number 4. 2-1, fouled off. Or that was the 2-2 rather, and we'll stay at 2-2.
Really nice breaking pitch there. Kind of tailed off towards that outside part of the plate at the end right before contact was made on it.
Adam Beery, one of the better pitchers as well in this group of relievers. He only has a 3.27 ERA, 14 strikeouts, 3 walks. Coach TJ Lanning's definitely going to like those numbers, and pitched 11 innings and is doing very well for this Copperheads team when they need him. As the 3-2 is on its way, swing and miss from Ty Davis, and that's already 1 strikeout here for Beery. Make that 15-3 for that ratio.
Nice pitch there. Recovery, missed a couple on that outside part of the plate and then able to work it back in. High-fiving his OU teammate, Matt Friesen. That whole left side of the infield now, Sedric, Ohio University guys.
Love to see it playing
Beery,
up there.
Shepard, and Friesen.
Good observation there. Is a lot of Bobcats making their presence known here at Bob Wren Stadium, home of the Ohio Bobcats. Did pretty well in the MAC, being able to make the MAC tournament this year, of course. Solid work for Coach Moore of the Bobcats as the 0-1 is in for another strike. And before we continue, we'll go over Cody Williams' day. He had 5 innings pitched, only allowed 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and the numbers that matter the most, only 2 runs in a start. Very quality once again from Cody Williams, as you see a strike there to Elliot Cruson, who has a double and then reached on an error. So has 100% on base percentage, but 1 for 1, as we'll see the 1-2 pitch on its way from Beery. And he's unable to miss it. As it's always funny whenever you have a pitcher named Beery and he's going against the beer batter of the Mariners, as they always do this promotion in the 6th inning, where if a player that's labeled a beer batter strikes out, it'll be lower price beer for all Bob Wren Stadium. And the pitch goes right back into Beery. Beery tries to recover, throws it to Bam Thomas. It's too high for him. It's an error. Cruson sits back down and goes back to first base. Oh, Lord, a hit went right back to Beery and hit him hard, and he had to get back up and make the play, and Bam Thomas was unable to bring it down. So another mistake by the Copperheads. Is started off pretty well, but now we're starting to see a couple of errors now. That's the 3rd one.
Just a bit of a miscommunication there, something that with Bam Thomas not getting a ton of reps at first base, Beery able to recover quickly and get that throw, but Bam Thomas was coming in, not covering the base too. So something that they probably would have worked on if, you know, Thomas had a couple of more reps, and I'm sure that's something that they'll kind of talk about amongst themselves when they go back to the dugout, just making sure that they're on the same page if a play like that would happen again.
And so Nicoluk is up. He's going to fire that one out to left field. Hodges is back there, but it goes down for a base hit, and runners will try to score. Will they be held up at 3rd? They will be held up, so no runners score, but it will be a standing double for Andrew Nicoluk. And the fans aren't going to like that one, and that'll bring on Sam Seeker, ever so dangerous bat, has a walk and a fly out, and has been holding down the fort at center field for this Mariners squad, down 4-2. And now with 1 out, got 2 runners on in scoring position.
Important for this Copperheads team to maintain focus, not allow these 2 big hits to kind of distract them, as they've really been playing well this entire game. Aside from a couple defensive errors, bats have really come alive. Pitching's done really well. Cody Williams with a solid outing to get him started here. Now Beery coming in, got that first out pretty quick.
Elliot Cruson had a single earlier, and Andrew Nicoluk with the double. That's how they have guys on 2nd and 3rd, as we see a swing and miss from Seeker. As Beery pitching in his 1st inning here at Bob Wren Stadium on the day. First time pitching here since facing the Cincinnati Steam in that first matchup between the Copperheads and Steam at Bob Wren Stadium. As the 0-1 pitch, it's on its way outside, ball number 1. So it's 1-1 count for Sam Seeker. One of the Mariner players that is playing his 2nd year for the Mariner squad, as they finished below 500 last year, looking to change that narrative. 9-11 so far halfway through the season, as we see a swing and miss. So Sam Seeker with a 1-2 count, which is the mirrored version of his jersey number 21. Copperheads once again wearing gold alternate jerseys in honor of Turn It Gold, and jerseys will be up for auction. So check all of our social medias, of course, to be able to be updated on those, as they are wonderful jerseys. The 1-2, it's on its way. It's low. Steidel corrals it. No runners advance. It's a 2-2 count. There's only one force out, which is at first, and one out in the inning for the Copperheads. So behoove of Beery to try to pick up the strikeout now and get rid of any sac fly situations here potentially for Sam Seeker, as see the 2-2 pitch on its way. Beery sets, and it's going to be a high fly ball. Looks like it's going to land in foul territory, and it does land in foul territory as, oh, that was nearly a home run. Oh, my goodness. We'll see if the umpires make a call. They say it's not a home run. I think that's very fortunate for the Copperheads. That was about 1 or 2 feet away from a home run.
Yeah, Sedric, I couldn't really tell. It almost looked like that ball was drifting back into fair territory out there in right field. That was a close play.
So it'll be 2-2 again. No harm, no foul for the Copperheads. Beery delivers the pitch. It's in for strike number 3. They got Seeker, and that's a big out for the Copperheads. So sac fly is now off, as the Mariners will have to get something in the field of play and score a run if they're going to, or get a base hit rather, if they're going to want to score a run. As some good break for the Copperheads, as I thought that maybe could have been a home run. That's where
very
glad people
close.
are going to check our instant replay here.
Yeah, luckily the camera, you cannot see the left or the right field foul pole. So all plausible deniability on our end.
Yep, doing our part to help the Copperheads. As it'll be back to the top of the order for the Grand Lake Mariners. It'll be Donnie Goods, who has a strikeout, a flyout, and hit into a fielder's choice. And he'll work with 2 runners on. The first pitch from Beery is right on the money, working the outside of the zone like it's clockwork. Strike number 1.
Strikeout definitely helped Beery's confidence. Guy that has pitched well all season, but every once in a while.
0-1, just below the strike zone. As that one was very close to being another strike, but umpire calls it a ball, and it's a 1-1 count with 2 outs, as the beautiful afternoon is turning to a very beautiful evening here at Bob Wren Stadium, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and they're going to say it's a strike, as there was a little bit of hesitation there as the umpire pointed to the second base umpire to maybe see and make sure that he did swing. And I think everybody in the crowd really believed that he swung, and I believe that he swung as well. So they got the call right, as it's going to be a 1-2 count with 2 runners on. Can Beery do it? Can he strand the runners at second and third? He delivers the pitch. It's fouled backwards, and the drama will maintain itself, as we'll do it again at 1-2.
Crowd really starting to get into it now. We're seeing a lot of people standing up, clapping, cheering on their guys here at Bob Wren. And again, just what an awesome environment to be in to watch some baseball here on a Friday night, Sedric.
I agree 100%, Tim, and let's see if the crowd can lift the Copperheads out of this inning. The 1-2 pitch on its way up high. So it'll be 2-2, as again, the count did favor Beery, so he has some pitches to go, and see if Donnie Goods would go after one that's maybe out of the range, if he'd go up for a ball or go down. We'll see 2-2 on its way, and it's a pop fly into foul territory, and everybody's got to watch out. Luckily, it goes over the trees out in the left field berm, or say more foul territory berm, and it'll be 2-2 again. As the tension continues, you get some claps going here in Bob Wren Stadium, and I'm starting to feel the energy as well here up in the broadcast booth, as it's an electric atmosphere at Bob Wren Stadium. Adam Beery on the mound for the Copperheads takes a little break, as the Mariners down 2-4 to the Southern Ohio Copperheads. They put up a single run in each of the last 2 innings. Beery's trying to force no runs in this one to stop that streak, as the 2-2 pitch on its way. It's a pass ball. Steidel's going to have to run for it, and they give up the run. That'll make the count full. And pass balls and wild pitches, they've been a big suspect for how Copperheads have given up runs so far this season. And not only the Copperheads, but also every team in the GLSCL, as it's always difficult for catchers and pitchers who don't get a lot of reps and practice time together, especially, again, a lot of people coming from different colleges. And it's really tough to get on the same page 100% of the time. So It's now just a 4-3 lead for the Copperheads as Elliot Cruson came across on the pass ball. Nicoluk advanced to third as the pitch is outside. And just like that, when the Copperheads had a chance to close the door, they left it open for the Mariners.
Tough break again for Adam Beery. Working a little bit too far outside on that last sequence of pitches. And after starting the first 3 innings scoreless, the Mariners have now got 1 in each of the last 3 innings to give them their 3. Copperheads got 1 in the second, and then a big explosion in that 3rd inning. And that's where the 4-3.
Runners on the corners as the pitch is outside on the breaking ball. So it's a 1-0 count to Tucker Hagan, the second baseman, who has a single, a fly out, and a ground out. Part of that interesting fly out backwards where he tried to bunt and it just went high up in the air and Steidl caught it. It's the 1-0 pitch. Just off the mark, a little inside for ball number 2. So Copperheads, they had a couple of chances to get out of the inning, weren't able to do it. And now they have runners on the corners for Grand Lake. The tying run at third, potential leading run at first. 2-0. In for a strike this time. So 2-1 pitch as Beery takes a nice little refresh there and is able to throw a strike. So it's a 2-1 count now to Tucker Hagan.
If you're Beery, you'll have to attack the zone here. Able to.
And we look like we have a pop fly high up into foul territory. So it'll be 2-1. Shout out to Andy Valent, our wonderful vice president, who came in, took a quick snap picture there with the Orange Crush, which is coming up as well. We might even stay on the broadcast so you guys can see one of the funnest parts of any day at Bob Wren Stadium. Definitely love Annie, all the work that she's been doing for the Copperheads to get this season going. She's been a main reason why we've been able to have a lot of success this year in terms of bringing in fans and making a great experience. There's a chopper foul for another strike, so it'll be 2-2, another chance to get out of the inning with runners on the corners. In the top of the 6th inning, Copperheads up 4-3, trying to hold on to that lead. They were at one point up 4-0, and the Mariners have stayed in the game, started chipping away. And we'll see if the Copperheads can have the bats come alive. But for now, they need to get out of this top inning. Beery sets, delivers the pitch outside. He tried to dial up his breaking ball. Runner goes, and runner is safe. That's Donnie Goods advancing to second to get rid of the force out at that base. So now the force out's only going to be at first where Bam Thomas is. And it'll be another full count payoff pitch. Going to be on its way for Adam Beery to Tucker Hagan. 3-2. It's going to be a big hit out into left field. Hodges is there, makes the catch, gets out of the inning. So Copperheads give up 1 for the 3rd inning in a row. But fortunately for the Copperheads, they still have the lead, 4-3, going into the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the sixth inning here at Bob Rent Stadium. The bottom of the sixth is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. First batter here is Clayton Hodges, who takes strike number 1. He'll be accompanied by Josh Steidel, Jordan Long, who are all due up in the inning. Your 6, 7, 8 batters for the Copperheads, who started off the game pretty strong, but now have gone cold, as they've had a couple of batters get retired in a row, 7 of them to be exact. And the Copperheads need to find a way to get out of the slump.
Yeah, just need to kind of awaken the bats up. Getting out hit right now, total of 9 for the Mariners, only 6 for the Copperheads, and really need to kind of awaken these bats. As we talked about in the last inning, the Mariners scored a run in each of the last 3 innings. So if that trend continues, it'll be a tie ball game by the 7th inning.
As Torres has seemed to really settle in as of lately, as he did a great job in his first appearance against the Copperheads as a pitcher, where he went 8 innings pitched, struck out 7, only gave up 1 run in that dominant 11-1 win for the Grand Lake Mariners. Clayton Hodges, though, on the day has an RBI. It was an RBI double. He also has a ground out as the 2-2 pitch on its way, and it's in for strike number 3. He got him looking as Torres worked that inside area of the zone, which is almost impossible to hit.
It is. You got to get the hands around really quick. When you're swinging on that inside pitch, you have to tuck your hands into your body and get them around a lot quicker than when you're reaching out towards that outside part of the plate to swing on one.
So that'll bring on Josh Steidel, who has a home run and a walk in that 1-for-1. That home run right now, the difference in the game, as it's a 4-3 matchup. Torres delivers the pitch inside for ball number 1. Josh Steidel back to doing pretty well against the Mariners, as he had an amazing game 1 against Grand Lake, where he had a home run, a double, and an RBI sac fly as he hits that one out to Hagen. Hagen fields it and delivers it to Vanderhaar for out number 2. So quick 2 outs in the inning, as now every batter on the Copperheads, 9 batters straight, have been retired by Gabriel Torres. So Torres, again, it wasn't always pretty today, but he's shown that he's a very dangerous batter, but we'll see if Jordan Long can break Torres' streak here. It's a ground out and a strikeout as he hits it right down Broadway. It's unable to be fielded by Hagen. Jordan Long running, makes it, he's safe. And what did Jordan Long do, Tim? Broke at Gabriel Torres out of his hot streak.
Great piece of hitting there by Jordan Long. Kind of found that gap, and Tucker Hagen able to react quick enough to kind of get over to it, not make a clean play on it, but hustle, Sedric down there to first base. Jordan Long taking advantage of his opportunity to play today and getting on base again, sort of, well, we'll see, maybe awakening things here for the Copperheads.
Yeah, Jordan Long, being one of the more adaptable players on the teams, played second base, third base, and also has come in to help pitch, of course, and it's a big deal, of course, whenever a game may be a little bit out of hand, to come in, be able to close out the game and just get out of there without having to force the team to use any more arms that day. It's a really essential thing to do. So good work from Jordan Long, and also is quite a talented hitter. We saw him against the Hamilton Joes, who probably have the best pitching staff in the entire GLSCL, and he did very well against them, going 2 for 4, and really almost 3 for 4 if we look at it, as it looks like that's going to be a balk. And that'll advance Jordan Long. So, Tim, we've seen a couple of balks on the air. It's more of a rare play, and we've seen about 3 of them.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that, actually, Sedric. We've seen him more often in these last couple of days than we have all season, and not something you really see very often, really, especially at the major league level, but really even at the high school, college level.
Carson Shepard takes strike number 1. Carson Shepard with a strikeout and a flyout on his total for the day from Ohio University and from out there in Wisconsin, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, to be exact, as the 1-1 pitch is low and inside for ball number 2 for Carson Shepard with 1 runner on. That's Jordan Long, and Gabriel Torres still pitching here into his 6th inning. He went 8 the first game against the Copperheads. Probably would have went the complete game, as the Mariners are a team that does not have a lot of depth. And when you're on a big road stretch like this, it's important to really save arms. So they really can't afford to go more than 1 or 2 pitchers, or if not, they're going to have to go towards their position players, which a lot of their position players have been able to come in and do very well. Torres at one point was one of those guys. The 3-1 pitch It's in for strike number 2, as Shepard thought that was a walk for sure.
Umpire been calling that inside strike a lot recently and the last couple of batters, and been pretty consistent with it all day, but the Copperheads will have to make an adjustment, knowing that on those inside pitches, he's going to be more likely to call that a strike. Don't want to go down looking on a pitch like that.
Fortunate for the Coppers, that seems to be where Torres can really deliver a pitch into that area of the strike zone. He's been pretty solid at that, and why he's a pitcher with a winning record this year, 2-1 on the season as a starter. The 3-2 on its way. Up high, and now there's a walk there for Carson Shepard, one of those players that just finds ways to get on base. He had a moment last game where he got on all errors, which was absolutely insane. And again, a hit he had really allowed the Copperheads to go. And in the stats, you're not going to see an RBI for that, but you can see that Carson Shepard just makes things happen as he gets the first base. So it'll be 2 runners on for Diego Ortiz, getting his first at-bat of the day. Who 0 for 2 against the Mariners. He's going to have a deep fly ball. Should be no problem for Sam Seeker. He's underneath it, makes the catch, and that retires the side with 2 runners left on. Copperheads not able to turn anything, as they're only up 4-3, and the Mariners are really knocking at the door, and they'll get the chance to bat again in the top of the 7th inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube.
All right, Copperhead fans, are you ready to race?
Top of the 7th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 4-3, and the top of the 7th is presented to you by Ohio Health. Copperheads in a little bit of trouble now as they were up 4-0. Things were going right throughout the first part of the game, but the game is in chapters. They dominated the opening act, then the second act was all Mariners, and we'll see who can win this final 3 innings as we are in make or break time. 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning. That's where games are won, Tim. And we'll see if the Copperheads can be able to do it. And
going to need consistent pitching from this pitching staff here in these last couple of innings if they want to be able to close this one out. We saw Cody Williams give up a couple hits, but really able to kind of work himself back out of it.
The 1-1 is swung on and missed by Luke Vonderhaar, who has a hit into a double play, a single, and then another single in the 4th and 5th innings back-to-back. So 2 for 3 on a little bit of a hot streak here. Is the 1-2 pitch on its way from Beery, and it's going to be a high fly ball. Bam Thomas going back. No, Jordan Long calls it, makes the catch. 1 down in the inning, and that'll bring on Manny Voorhees, the next batter for the Grand Lake Mariners. And for the Copperheads, they've had a couple of innings in a row where they've only been able to give up 1 run. It's like the Mariners have been just chipping away slowly, chipping and chipping and chipping. Copperheads need to find that way to close the door, not allow a single thing, and give room for their bats to be able to come alive in one of these later innings.
And we saw that spark a little bit there at the end of the last inning, but going to need to now get those guys across home plate if they're going to want to close this one out.
So one down in the inning. The pitch to Voorhees is just outside for a ball, as that one was really close to the zone. But nevertheless, it is a 1-0 count. And the 1-0 on its way. It's up high, and that's going to be ball number 2.
Lots of break on that pitch. Just didn't quite hit that zone, working on that top part up there.
2-0 on its way, and it's upstairs once again outside. And Steidel will have a little word here with Beery, as it's 3 pitches, 3 balls in a game where the Copperheads have led ever since the second inning. That's something that hasn't happened a lot on this season, as I would probably predict somewhere around, I'd say 20 or 25 innings or so the Copperheads have led this season, and the rest of them they've had to play catch-up, which puts a lot of pressure on the bats. So we see the 3-0 pitch from Beery, and just did not break enough. So that's ball number 4, as Voorhees takes the walk and adds to his day, where he had a single and a reached on an error. He also had a hit where he was tagged off at second trying to get the double out of it. So he's on the base again. So it'll be 1 runner on with 1 out in a 4-3 game led by the Copperheads, with the Mariners trying to sneak their way back into it. Jackson Howard, the DH, will be up now in this inning. He has a pair of strikeouts and a single to his name. Beery with the first pitch in for strike number 1, as he's able to get some good break on the curveball and make it a strike, as we've seen Beery really focus on a lot of breaking pitches, it seems like, this inning.
Yeah, a couple of them he's been able to find nice break on them and hit the zone, and a couple others he's missed a little bit low. So we'll see if he can keep working those, or if he'll decide to kind of just go back to that fastball and try and really just hit that zone and continue to pound it, make these hitters work for it.
So we see now 1-1 to Jackson Howard, the DH for Grand Lake, who is 9-11, lost 4 straight, trying to get back in the win column and stay in that mix, as the Licking County Settlers won today, so they improved their record to 11-11. So they're going to move up in the standings to where the Scouts are, and Scouts looking to try to upset the Hamilton Joes. And while we'll see Steidel take a little bit of time to talk to Beery after the count is 1-2 now to Howard, we'll look at the scores, we'll update them, and see what's going down in the GLSCL, as the Lima Locos down 2-7 over the Royal Oak Leprechauns. Leprechauns last in the division. Lima only 1 spot ahead of them, and it seems like the Leprechauns are getting the best of Lima. And then we have a rain delay out there in Xenia, as it's a 6-1 lead for the Scouts over the Hamilton Joes. Will be a pretty big upset in the division if that stands, as well as the Settlers, as I mentioned, are winning the game 9-6 at Denison University, as the 1-2 pitch on its way, swung on and missed. Strike number 3, 2 down in the inning, and 1 runner on. Copperheads just need 1 more out to avoid giving up a tying run.
Really good job by Beery there. Went back to what he does best, attacking that zone. Made the hitter get something to swing at, gave him something to swing at, and ultimately was victorious in that matchup.
So that's 3 strikeouts for Beery to only 1 walk on the day. Or should make that 2 walks. As the runner goes, and it looks like they may have a chance to catch him. And they got him! Carson Shepard covering from his spot, and they're able to make the play. So that was Manny Voorhees trying to steal. He was caught. That retires the side. Copperheads, for the first time since the 3rd inning, give up nothing. And the Copperheads are up 4-3 going into the bottom of the 7th.
That was a huge play right there, Sedric. I think that's one of the plays that if the Copperheads are able to be victorious in this one, that's a play we're going to look at as a pinpoint of kind of when the momentum shifted back into favor of the Copperheads. That got that 3rd out not only, but prevented that runner from advancing into scoring position and got them out of that inning.
It was a big play, and we'll hope that the Copperheads can ride that momentum to a couple more runs here in the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 7th inning, and the bottom of the 7th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. If you haven't tried a Copperhead Crunch Dog, what are you waiting for? As that's one of the best hot dogs in the world. And it's a great flex here in the GLSCL to be able to have your own stadium hot dog with its own unique flair, as Gunnar Aldridge is the first batter up. The 0-1 was on its way, showed bunt on the second one. It looked like it fouled backwards, and it did, for strike number 2 to Gunnar Aldridge, who's been money today with a pair of singles, 1 fly out. And make that adjustment. It's 1-1 as there's a drive into left field, and it is down for another base hit, as Gunnar Aldridge has just been absolutely on fire as of lately, as it just seems like nothing's been able to stop this man. And no pitcher, even some of the best ones in the GLSCL, have not been able to figure out Gunnar Aldridge. And if you're the Michigan State Spartans and their coaching staff, they got to be really happy at the improvement that he's shown.
He's seeing the ball really well in these last couple of games and getting back to the hitter that he was in that first couple of games here against the Grand Lake Mariners, or even down in Hamilton against the Joes. Really starting to see the ball well, making an impact on this team in that designated hitter role. 1
runner on. Kyle Ratliff is up. There's a steal attempt. It won't matter because it is fouled off from Ratliff. Ratliff started the day off with a single and then has a strikeout and a ground out. So sitting at 1 for 3 for the big, powerful hitter who attends Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, from Wyoming, Michigan, outside of Grand Rapids. Batting .270 on the year, driven in 11 RBIs, which is the most on the team. Definitely will get some consideration as well for the All-Star game, as he hit that one out into foul territory. All-Star game coming up in just 11 days, I believe. That'll be exciting for whichever players get selected, and good food there, good atmosphere, and seeing some of the best players in the GLSCL, as well as some MLB scouts I heard were going to be at there.
Yeah, it should be a really fun experience, just a kind of an all-day baseball thing. We were talking with Coach Lanning, and he said that there's a scouting event earlier in the day, and then they play the game at night. So it should be just a great, fun day of baseball.
Kyle Ratliff with a shot right down Main Street. Gunnar Aldridge is going for third. Can he make it? He slides in. He's safe. Nice single there from Kyle Ratliff, dialing it right down the middle. And that's exactly what the Copperheads needed. With nobody out, they have a runner in scoring position, Tim.
Great piece of directional hitting there by Kyle Ratliff. Found the gap in the defense, knew exactly where he needed to put it to advance Gunnar Aldridge over there to third base. Absolutely perfect. And now that gives at least one guy only 90 feet away. So Bam Thomas allowed fly ball into the outfield. We're going to see Gunnar Aldridge hightailing it down to the plate.
Bam Thomas, 2 for 8, 1 run in the doubleheader yesterday as Ratliff goes, and it's going to be a hit out into the area. They're able to throw to third, but they don't worry about Bam Thomas, it seemed like. I don't know if anyone stuffed down the bag, and I think every runner is safe. Every runner is safe, so that works out well for the Copperheads as Bam Thomas delivered it out to the first baseman, it looked like, in Vonderhaar, and he decided not even to step on the bag. He decided to go for the leadoff runner, which I respect that decision. You want to focus on the person at scoring position and hold them there and not get a run, but now the bases are loaded for the Copperheads. It was Aldridge at third, so there was no force out on the play, but Aldridge does a good job getting back into position and not getting it out. So look at this, Tim. Copperheads, bases loaded, nobody out. Got to score here.
You have to, Sedric. This is something that teams have been taking advantage of the Copperheads in these last couple of games. They load up these bases, no outs, something we saw a couple of times last night, and then was able to just chip away, get one guy at a time across the plate, and all of a sudden we looked up and there was 9 runs scored in that inning. So I think that's something that if they just continue to be consistent, find these little holes in the defense, make smart plays on the base pad, we're going to see this team score a lot of runs in this inning.
Of course, and Torres, he ought to be getting tired here after a while. He's had to pitch a lot, giving up 10 hits, as you've seen a trio of them already in the bottom of the 7th inning. And looks like there is some bullpen activity over there, as there is a pitcher warming up for the Mariners, as now we see Matt Friesen up, and it's a hit into right between second and third base. It'll be an RBI for Matt Friesen, his second one of the season. Big play for Matt Friesen, as when it comes to playing against the Mariners, Matt Friesen steps up with the bats.
And didn't have to use an out to get that RBI across the plate, Cedric. That was a such a well-hit ball as Manny Voorhees was kind of covered closer to third base to make sure that Gunnar Aldridge stayed there, didn't try to get an extra base on maybe a pass ball or something, and just hit it right the hole right past him. Great piece of hitting by Matt Friesen.
So Copperheads are able to get 1 run and increase their lead 5-3 off of the RBI single from Matt Friesen, scoring Gunnar Aldridge. As now we see a pass ball. Kyle Ratliff has speed. He's going to get in easily. Bam Thomas advances to third. And now Matt Friesen the second. And that's 2 runs now for the Copperheads. It's a 6-3 lead. And like we were saying, Tim, Copperheads needed to increase that lead, add some padding, and it might be about who's going to dominate this latter portion of the game. And so far, the Copperheads have been the team in charge.
Something we saw last night against the Xenia Scouts, Cedric, had that hit when the bases were loaded in that big, huge bottom of the 6th inning. Had the bases loaded, got a couple of hits, couple of pass balls, and there's another hit.
Clayton Hodges with another RBI. He's going to have a second one for the day. This time it's an RBI single to go with his RBI double he had earlier today. That scores Bam Thomas. And just like that, it's 7-3. Copperheads have not had over 6 runs in quite a while. Only game they had it was against the Settlers in one of their last home games that they had in the weekend set against the Settlers back on the 17th, where they put up 9. So this is their highest run total since that game. And this might be the end of Torres. It looks like it is. So Copperheads are able to put up 3 runs and get the better of Torres, as after Torres pitched against the Copperheads really well in that game up in Salina, Tim, it seems like the Copperheads have really figured out Torres and have come back with a vengeance. And the bats have been as hot as we've seen them. 12 hits. 12 hits, Tim. That's phenomenal.
Such an impressive bounce-back game for their performance so far as compared to last night. Gave up that huge inning in the 6th last night and really just deflated all momentum they had in that game. Copperheads came out today, slow start in the 1st inning, but just getting warmed up, maybe had some yips from the pregame festivities, and then a run in the 2nd, 3 runs in the 3rd, now 3 runs here in the 7th. In control of this game, Cedric.
In control is right. So we'll go ahead and do some summary here of what happened in this game. So Copperhead started it off with a 4-0 lead. It started with a solo shot from Josh Steidel over to right field, and that was able to get them his first home run and had the Copperheads leading 1-0. Then it was followed by Gunnar Aldridge and Bam Thomas scoring off of a 2 RBI double from Mason Nadolny. Mason Nadolny ended up scoring off of a RBI from Clayton Hodges. And then it was all Mariners for the middle innings, as we saw runs from Luke Vonderhaar, Sam Seeker, and Elliot Cruson, which made the lead 4-3 for the Copperheads. But then the Copperheads have opened up the game a little bit more here in the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th to be specific, as Gunnar Aldridge, Kyle Ratliff, Bam Thomas, they all score. Gunnar Aldridge scored off an RBI from Matt Friesen. Kyle Ratliff scored on the pass ball, and Bam Thomas scores on an RBI from Clayton Hodges. And Tim, one thing I was talking about earlier today was that the Copperheads, they were last in the GLSCL in RBIs. I think that total is going to go up a lot after what we've seen today. We're getting a lot of runners that are being driven in by other batters. That is great.
They are. They're taking advantage of those things, or of those runners on base, and they're able to get those guys across the plate, not having to rely on the other team making errors. They're creating opportunities for themselves.
So appears we have a new pitcher here for the Mariners who will go against Josh Steidel. It's Adam Ebling. We've seen him as a batter against the Copperheads a lot, as he is 4 for 12 as a batter, hit 1 home run this season as well for the freshman from Tulane, playing some big-time baseball in a school down south. And speaking of playing baseball in a school down south, you have Josh Steidel from Jacksonville University, who has a 1-0 count against them, as the second pitch is there, but Clayton Hodges is able to steal second, so good work by Hodges. There's not even a throw, so force out's only going to be at the first base, as it's nobody out, 2 runners on for Josh Steidel, who has a home run, a walk, and a ground out to his name on the day, getting his 4th at-bat, as he hits that one right towards the pitcher, hits up against the mound, hit it with so much power, the ball ricocheted high up in the air all the way to Sam Seeker. Both runners score, RBI, or 2 RBI single for Josh Steidel. And Tim, Steidel is back.
Yes, he is, Cedric, officially out of that slump dubbed by you and I, but so glad to have him back. This team just plays night and day difference when he's on and when he's off. A real leader of this team.
He sure is. Him and Kyle Ratliff have been the guys that have been pointed to as the leaders of this squad. We've seen Coach Lanning rave about each of those individuals and what they've been able to do as Jordan Long is back up. Long was the original batter that was able to break the slump because there was a point where Torres, he had 9 straight batters retired for the Copperheads, went through the whole lineup. Jordan Long was able to break it with a single and then reach second on a balk as the ball was way ahead of him. Jordan Long had to duck underneath that one. Fortunately not able to get hit there, which is great. And it'll be 2-0 as Adam Ebling, the new pitcher here for the Mariners, one of those positional players that is forced to come in here during this road stretch and play. And the Mariners are another team that's really, community is a big part of what their team is all about. As it looked like almost a pass ball as Ty Davis had issues finding the ball. It was right below him. So, again, what we talked about earlier was spatial awareness and how difficult that is when you're wearing a mask. Maybe us during the COVID-19 pandemic know a little bit about that, but the mask for the catchers, definitely a lot heftier.
Ty Davis wears that old school catcher mask as opposed to Josh Steidel, who wears more of the hockey style face mask. That old school catcher's mask, something that Sebastian Silva also opts to wear. So a bit different. The old school mask you can kind of flip up quicker. But it does, of course, become a pain trying to put those on and back off every time. But it does help with the visibility a little bit more.
Jordan Long gets walked by Ebling, and that'll bring about the next batter, Carson Shepard. And on Turn It Gold night, the Copperheads have struck gold with their batting as he shows bunt. And we'll see if it's foul tipped off or if it didn't hit his bat. It looks like it did not, so it'll be ball number 1 to Carson Shepard, who has a strikeout, a flyout, and a walk to his name on the day. And this is great for the Copperheads getting out of the starting pitcher. That's what you have to do with teams that don't have a lot of depth. And what I was saying about the Mariners organization, they also do a lot of kids camps, just like how the Southern Ohio Copperheads do as well. So we heard from Coach Perez, they have a lot of situations where the players are waking up at 6 a.m. They're going to get workouts in the morning and practicing and maybe doing a little batting work or pitching work or something like that, and then they'll go and do the kids camps, and then right after that jump on the bus to go play a game, which is absolutely brutal, especially during a 9-game road stretch.
It is, and it's awesome they're able to get out into the community, but definitely takes a toll on some of your players.
Bunt from Carson Shepard. It will be there in time, but it advances the runner, and with nobody out, sacrifice fly is still on for Diego Ortiz, who the last time he was up, he did get good contact, but it was a fly out right to Sam Seeker. Diego Ortiz plays at University of Alabama, Birmingham, also known as UAB, and went 0-2 against the Mariners the first time he played them. And the freshman getting a good chance to come in relief of Trey Rucker, who started off the game in the outfield. So getting some reps all around as Ebling set to the mound. And there's a hit down, and it is down for a base hit. Ortiz going to pick up his first RBI on the season, actually make that his second RBI on the season, scoring Josh Steidel. And for the Copperheads in this 7th inning, it has now been officially tied for their best inning this season. They had 6 runs put up against the Richmond Jazz back in the 8th inning of their first game of the season against the Jazz out at McBride Stadium. And now we see it again, a 6th spot in front of the home crowd on Turn It Gold night. How wonderful is that?
Back in double digits for the first time since that game as well, too, Sedric. So I think this offense has finally kind of found their groove. Definitely a bounce-back game from the performance last night, and something they'll be able to kind of carry their momentum to in this next home stretch.
So Ortiz picks up a single RBI, and that'll bring on where the inning started with Gunnar Aldridge, who had a single to start off the inning and really set the tone for the Copperheads to have such a big inning as they batted around the order. And it's only 1 out, so they might have a chance to match what happened to them yesterday, where they had a really tough out in the bottom of the 6th. But right now the Copperheads are returning the favor, this time inflicting it on the Grand Lake Mariners, as the 2-0 pitch on its way outside for ball number 3. And again, that's your advantage when you're facing teams that don't have a lot of bullpen depth, is that if you can get them past their starting pitcher, you're going to be able to find success. The Copperheads, in times that they've been able to get to the bullpen guys, they've been able to beat the Mariners. In times that they haven't, they lost. 3-0 down low. It's a walk for Aldridge. And guess what? Bases are loaded.
Great pitch sequence there by Adam Ebling. Just not able to find that zone. Missed high, missed low, missed outside, and then ultimately missed inside on that last pitch. But kind of painting that outside corner. Gunnar Aldrich doing a great job being patient and taking advantage of Adam missing.
So Kyle Ratliff back up this inning after hitting a single earlier on. The Copperheads started the inning off with a couple consecutive singles. Let me count them up for you. They started off with 5 consecutive singles. She make that 6 consecutive singles before they got a walk from Jordan Long, and then Carson Shepard hit into a fielder's choices. Now it's the count is 1-1 to Kyle Ratliff. Bam Thomas will be on deck for the Copperheads with only 1 out in a game they're leading 10-3 as they've opened it up big time. As no swing there as the ball goes low. And for the Copperheads, if they put up 3 more runs, it will be game over as it is in the 7th inning. So if all the runners that are on the base path score, the Copperheads will win by run rule. Copperheads have had the run rule happen to them many times. This is their first chance to return the favor and run rule a team that did run rule them back up in Salina, the Grand Lake Mariners.
Would be a nice chance for revenge here in front of the home crowd on such a special night, but still got to take care of business, have 2 outs to work with.
Swing and miss from Ratliff, so it's going to be 2-2 as Ratliff is 2 for 4 on the day. Really solid batting performance. He's had 4 homers, and if he hits a homer here, that would bring down the house, as we've not seen any grand slams so far on this year. The 2-2, it's an absolute drive, it's a bomb to left field, it's going, and it is gone, it's an hasta la vista, grand slam. This game is pretty much over, Tim, as the Copperheads are going to run rule the Mariners as this game is over. 14-3, Kyle Ratliff with the hasta la vista, and he is your leader in home runs. Hear the crowd cheer.
What a, oh my, I'm at a loss for words, Sedric. Kyle Ratliff ends this game, puts that ball, I lost it. I'll be honest, I lost the ball. I didn't see it land.
Well, Tim, that's the tendency with Kyle Ratliff here. Whenever he hits a home run, it's a shot to the moon, and we saw it right there. As soon as I said, wouldn't it be great if he hit a grand slam right there? What does Kyle Ratliff do? Grand slam. Home run number 5 for Kyle Ratliff. He is leading the entire GLSAL. And for the Copperheads, for the first time this year, they run rule a team, Tim. How about that? We've seen run rules against us, and the Copperheads emphatically get to 7-12 on the season. Like, Tim, just, man, this is about as great as it gets. This is how the Copperheads started the season in June, with an emphatic win over the Mariners, and now we see an emphatic win over the Mariners in a whole different way as, we're just over the moon.
Honestly, Sedric, I'm just so proud of this team's composure throughout this game to come in, and they showed up, and it was a rough game yesterday, and they came in and absolutely took care of business today. They did everything that Xenia did to them yesterday. They turned around, they saw what they did, maybe did some soul searching, came in and took care of business against the Grand Lake Mariners. Did everything right in this one, Sedric.
They did everything right indeed, as the runners that all scored there was Jordan Long from 3rd, Diego Ortiz scored from 2nd, Gunnar Aldrich from 1st, and of course 4 RBIs picked up from Kyle Ratliff, as that was just absolutely phenomenal. I know this team needed something like this after losing so many games in all these different ways, from run rules to games that just weren't frankly competitive, to be able to return the favor and show that this team has what it takes. And it's just, again, it makes me feel confident. They had 14 hits in just 7 innings, Tim. We can look at the statistics. There's all types of players that can arguably be the MVP of today. Josh Steidel with a homer, Kyle Ratliff with a homer. Oh, we got the camera back towards us. We're going to find it back because it's all smiles on Turn It Gold night. We got a couple of guys here with gold smiles, and we'll see some players with some golden smiles as well after today.
It's hard to pick an MVP for this game. You think about Gunnar Aldrich, a guy that got up on base, went 4 for 4, I believe. We'll have to check the book, but had a really good day at the plate. Josh Steidel had that big home run to get things started in the 2nd inning, and then obviously Kyle Ratliff, the game winner.
It was. It's awesome. The Copperheads winning 14-3 after putting up a huge inning. They put up 9 in an inning. 9. They went from, actually, no, make that 10 in an inning, as they had only 4 runs going into it and wanted to add some pad, and they were able to do it. And who knows how many runs they could have scored that inning, Tim, if they would have been able to keep going. I mean, that's just insane for the Copperheads. And they had so many RBIs. It's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we'll have a lot of post-game interviews coming towards this. We're going to try to get a couple of players up here just to see how excited they are. And we're really excited for the squad. The Copperheads, they get another win, their 7th one of the season. And they have a 3-1 series lead over the Grand Lake Mariners. They have officially won their first series out of teams in the division. And if they play like this, Tim, we're going to the playoff.
Yes.
No doubt about it. We're going to the playoff.
Well, we'll see, Cedric. Got a lot of baseball left, but definitely getting ready to hear from some of these guys, man. They deserve this one.
Yes, sir. So when we come back, you'll hear a couple of voices of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. You listen to Southern Ohio Copperheads baseball on YouTube. The Copperheads were victorious by a score of 14-3, and when the game, the Copperheads were up 10-3, and they had a chance to close off the game. Who came up to bat? Kyle Ratliff hit a grand slam, shut the door on the Mariners, and gave them a little bit of revenge. They run-ruled us back then, and now we run-ruled them. How did it feel just getting the bats come alive today?
Yeah, no, it felt great. Definitely against a team like the Mariners, you know, you kind of got a sour taste in your mouth playing them, and you know, sometimes it does get a little bit personal, but you know, at the end of the day, we're playing a game that's more about it's more about somebody else than ourselves today. So being able to do that and you know stick through it is definitely great.
So this is your second game winner, technically, of the year. You had that one against the Zinga Scouts,
Yeah.
and then also this one as well. Just take me into your head. How did you see the pitch come to you? Just all that situation.
Yeah, definitely. So what I've been trying to focus on, and through the struggles and stuff, is just winning pitch by pitch. I try to not get deep into counts, higher strikeout numbers. So being able to win the first pitch, and if I win that one, cool, then I'm gonna win the next one and the next one. I don't want to lose a single pitch, and so with a full count right there, 2 strikes on myself. So being able to sit in there and no matter where the pitch is at, he's not gonna beat me. I'm gonna win that pitch. So that's kind of my whole thought process, and it turned out victorious.
Kyle, a night and day difference from that game yesterday. Something that you guys did to the Mariners today was something that happened to you guys yesterday. Was that kind of a discussion you guys had amongst yourself on the team? Was like, hey, we need to go out there and like kind of refocus and do that same thing again?
Yeah,
team?
absolutely. It's all about pride, right? Like summer ball, we all play for different schools and, different philosophies and coaching styles. But at the end of the day, we're all playing on the same team. We're in the same jersey. And, nobody wants to go out there and lose by 10. You know what I mean? Especially since it's a 1-run game going into the 6th inning. Like, you don't want that. And so we kind of just had a self-reflecting moment, look ourselves in the mirror and figure out what we want to do. And, again, losing by 10 isn't it, right? So just definitely we all kind of found our pride and, found it and worked together and win a game.
A couple of guys, too, stepped up today, not just you. Josh kind of got out of his slump, hit that bomb in the 2nd inning. Gunner kind of getting back to it a little bit as well. Something you guys are kind of working on a little bit, trying to get back out of that slump, or like the directional hitting we saw a lot improve today as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely great to have those facilities back there that we can go hit at, and so you see a lot more faces in there, every day, and extra work and stuff, being able to get in there and fix what you got going on personally, because nobody can feel your swing like yourself. So whatever somebody else is feeling, I might not know. So they'll go in there and they'll fix it themselves, and we all kind of find time to put in extra work and get better.
What impressed you the most about your teammates today?
Definitely everybody picking each other up. It's even if you're having a bad game, you're still lifting up your teammates and being a good teammate in the dugout. It's more about somebody else than yourself, like I said earlier. So it's definitely something that surprised me from night and day difference from yesterday to today. Just being better teammates and everybody picking each other up.
Wonderful. Kyle, thank you for taking some time
Thank
to
you.
talk with us. This is the home run leader right now in the GLSCL. He's got 5 of them sitting all alone up top in the GLSCL. Kyle, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. We are here with Coach TJ Lanning coming off of a big win with the Copperheads. They defeated the Grand Lake Mariners 14-3 in emphatic fashion. And Coach, of course, with the game not going so well yesterday for the second game of the doubleheader, and you guys doing so well at the end of this game, how are you guys able to really rally back and really respond from yesterday's game?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for Turn It Gold for putting this on, and shout out to the Rudder family and Kyle. What they're going through is very unimaginable, and I feel for them, and I'll pray for them. Folks watching in online, please send a prayer to the Rudder family, because they really need it at this time, and I'm glad that we were able to put a show on for them and give them a little donation as well. So shout out to them, and thank you all for being a supporter of the Copperheads, and hopefully Kyle loves his jersey that we all signed and gave him, or that we were going to give him. But no, as far as the game, I told the guys yesterday we won the first, and then the second one we kind of lost pretty bad. It's just stay in the ball game. We're going to come back and find a way to win a ball game, and it feels good that we're actually starting to lead games now. We're not playing from behind usually now. We're actually leading games and staying in the lead, So overall, I'm just happy. The guys needed it. We've been going on some very bad losing streaks, and for these guys to come out and finally 10-run rule someone that I know they're capable of doing was just much needed, that's for sure.
Coach, a little bit different than the performance we saw last time we were in Grand Lake. and a little bit different than, as you said, what we saw yesterday. Were you able to address the team yesterday, or was the adjustments kind of made internal with the guys in the locker room?
Yeah, I definitely addressed them about everything. But, today I told them we're playing for a much higher purpose than today, okay? Kyle, I mean, that's who we were playing for today, hands down. I'm glad that we were able to come out for a win for him. Unfortunately, the kid may never get to step on a baseball field and play competitive baseball. And I told the guys to go out there and just play for a higher purpose than a win or a loss today, and just give it all you got for the family and everyone. So yeah.
Well, the guys definitely delivered on that today, Sedric.
Yeah, it was fully apparent again that it felt like everybody was playing with. It felt like it wasn't focused on, hey, how can I do? It was focused on just being able to represent, put on a show for people that may not get that opportunity. And again, I'm really excited that we got to have Turn It Gold Night to make that, especially since cancer affects a lot of families.
Yes.
I talked about it in the 5th inning, I believe, where I lost my mother due to cancer. And lots of people have been touched by that. So what you guys did today was bigger than just baseball, and sports has that ability to be able to transcend things. And you say sports is a very humbling game.
Yes.
And I really see it a lot today. You have any words on like that sort of message?
Yeah, no, I mean, I lost my grandfather to cancer as well, so it definitely hits home with me as well. I mean, I started tearing up when they were out there doing the stuff. So I mean, it's really something that really sucks, but it only makes us stronger at the end of the day. So tearing up right now thinking about it. So I'm just glad that we were able to put a show on and do it for the Rudder family.
Yep, for Kyle, and it's only fitting that player named Kyle hits a game-winning home run to end the game. Copperheads once again victorious, 14-3. Coach Lanning, thank you for sitting down with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
The Copperheads were victorious 14-3, and it got all started with Josh Steidel hitting the home run just like he did in Game 1 against the Grand Lake Mariners. And Josh, that home run, it was really close. We didn't even know in the broadcast booth whether it was a home run or not. Did you know if it was a home run or not?
You know, I hit it really well, but it's super humid out, and the wind was blowing in, but luckily it got out.
Yeah, he kind of jumped up, and we're like, oh shoot, he got it, because he jumped back up really quick.
Yeah, me
and
too.
then umpire gave the signal. So
Thank God, yeah.
nice job. How did it feel getting back out of that slump?
Oh, it was a rough 4 or 5 games, but I feel really good at the plate. I dropped my hands a little bit to get more on bat on plane, so just little tweaks like that to get my swing back in order.
Different performance today all around by the whole team that we
awesome.
saw yesterday. Was that something you guys addressed kind of internally
You know,
with yourselves yesterday?
something had to change. The first game yesterday went really well. We had a lead. And then the second game we got blown out, and we were all just after the game, we were like, something's got to change. We got to play as a team and just have fun. Everyone was getting so tight. And tonight, it really showed that we were loose and had fun and played well.
Coach Lanning said he told you guys to play this game for that higher purpose.
Yeah.
And is that something that you guys kind of meant something to you as well?
Yeah, I had a really close family member die of cancer recently, and it sucks. We're blessed every single day to come out here and play, so that was a chip on our shoulder today.
Yeah, I think a true marker as well of somebody who can be a competitor is when things aren't going well, you find the way to bounce back. Do you think this is really going to help you for the rest of your career, being able to work out of a slump like this?
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, it felt really good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So this was Josh Steidel as well. He's up there in the home runs. He has 4 of them on the season. Another one of those home run leaders here on this Copperhead squad. Copperheads were victorious 14-3. Josh, thank you for sitting up here with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We got a nice bonus interview here for you as we have the Director of Player Operations, Trevor Stevens, who does so much for this Copperhead squad. And Trevor, just tell me a bit about how you were able to organize this Tournament Gold Day and how you came up with it.
Yeah, so pre-game I was honored before the game for coming up with this. I've been a part of the Tournament Gold organization since high school here in Southeast Ohio. So February when I was taking Annie's class, we came up with game ideas, and I did a presentation on Tournament Gold and then Annie basically came to me saying, so let's sit down and talk about how we can make this. Because I was in that crew, I reached out to Lynn Harder, who many of you in Athens area might know, and we worked with the Copperheads, Annie and the Copperheads, to put this event on tonight. So then we went to local sponsors, Passion Work Art, to design some flowers, and was on site tonight doing sales. And then the Game War uniforms were also another deal, which we're currently auctioning off on our social media pages as well.
Awesome, wonderful, Trevor. And it seems like it really came about really successfully, and I'm really glad that you got the vision. Also, it seems like you got yourself a special jersey as well.
Yep, so they surprised me pre-game with a special uniform, and I wasn't expecting it. For all my hard work going into planning this night, it got rescheduled twice and then pushed to tonight again. And then just winning is on top of it, especially on that walk-off grand slam, was even the even put it over the top. It was a great night.
Yeah, and it was special for a lot of people, not only people that have been affected by cancer with kids in their life, but also people who have lost ones. We heard from Josh Steidel. We've heard from Coach as well, where they've had people in their lives who've been affected by cancer. Me as well, who lost my mother due to cancer. And it really meant a lot on a big scale. So you really made such a big difference for the whole community of Southeast Ohio. And I don't want to understate how big of an impact you made today, Trevor. Great job.
Yes, and we hope to continue this into the future as well. As I know Tournament Gold has partnered with both high school, like Athens High School, Alexander High School, and Ohio University, and we hope to continue as the Copperheads of being another team, a part of their organization, trying to push their movement, raise funds for them, especially like the kid tonight who was unable to be here, but we still recognized him, and we hope to recognize many more people in the Southeast area, Ohio area who have childhood cancer in the future.
Of course. And again, Copperheads winning on and off the field, and to all our Copperheads that are at home and not able to make it and going through many different battles, whether that's be disease or whether it be cancer or anything like that. Of course, we welcome you always to the broadcast, and we always love being able to give you guys the Copperheads action, because you guys are just as much a part of the team as us up here in the broadcast booth and as the players on the field. So once again, thank you, Trevor, for talking with us. We really
Thank you
appreciate
very
you.
much.
Congratulations on such a great night. So we got some post-game action for you here at Bob Rent Stadium. The Copperheads were victorious 14-3, and Tim, it was an absolute emphatic game. The Copperheads put up more hits than they had all season long. I believe they finished with 12 hits, if I recall correctly, and I mean, that's insane output. 14 runs, that's far and away their best total of the year, and also 10 runs in an inning and counting, because if it wasn't for the run rule, it could have been even higher than that, Tim.
Yeah, Sedric, even when we talked to Coach, he was almost certain that it was going to be more than 10 runs in that inning, and the Copperheads really just showed a lot of toughness playing for something bigger than a game of baseball, win or a loss or what have you. They really kind of rallied this whole community around together. It's been a rough couple of weeks for the Copperheads, and they finally not only got back in that win column, but really rallied the community, brought it back together. We didn't know if the game was really going to be played today because of the weather, and all around a really, really special night, Cedric.
It's definitely one of those days where the Copperheads are really counting our blessings, and everybody who's watching this broadcast as well as us really count your blessings as well. The opportunity to be able to have community events like this and to have the opportunity to be able to rally around the sport of baseball. It really shows how sports can really transcend a lot of the stuff. It's not just a bunch of athletes battling for a win. There's more than just that, and we got to really see that today, and it really added to the magic of the night as well, where lots of people were touched in many different ways, and so many people coming together for a good cause from the Copperheads and the Mariners alike. So it's just really great to be able to see that. But we'll look at some of the other scores from around the league, as for the Licking County Settlers are winning 9-6. What's up,
Great
Charlie?
General Manager
That's
Charlie
our great
Clegg.
general manager.
Charlie,
Want to say what's up to the people?
Hello to the people.
People, hello. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. Hopefully more to come for this grandstand. We are going gold jerseys tomorrow. You heard it here first. We are streaking in these. Gold jerseys tomorrow, grandstand. 2 more wins.
Perfect.
Love
Let's
to
do
hear it.
Let's
Yes,
do
sir. Gold jerseys all the way through for the homestand. They'll try to keep it going as they'll face off against the Hamilton Joes. Speaking of the Hamilton Joes, they lost today to the Xenia Scouts in a big upset. Hamilton was at the top of the division, Xenia near the middle of the pack, and the Xenia Scouts, they win 6-1 in 7 innings as it was called off for a storm out there.
Shows anything is possible, Cedric. We came in the last time we played this team a really, really tough out. Today, the Copperheads just continued to battle and got the win. So who knows, tomorrow against the Hamilton Joes, even though they do have one of the best pitching staffs in the entire GLSCL, definitely if they can hit and play like this with that same passion, that same fire they played with tonight, definitely don't count the Copperheads out of that game tomorrow.
You definitely cannot. The Copperheads have defeated the Joes once this year, 7-4, and then dropped the next 2 games, including one here at Bob Wren Stadium where Bennett Clement led the Hamilton Joes to that victory. So we'll see if the Copperheads can be able to tie up that series 2-2. And the Copperheads, they are up to 7-12, and some other finals. Licking County Settlers, they defeated the Richmond Jazz 9-6. The Copperheads, of course, in our game won 14-3. Ice Haulers beat the Muskegon Clippers 5-2, and the Royal Oak Leprechauns are in control against the Lima Locos in a 7-4 game where the Leprechauns, who are last in the division, are looking to crawl their way out in the same way that the Copperheads are. Is they made some good progress. They have won 2 out of their last 3 now. That's something where we talk about 3-game stretches, Tim. You've mentioned, can we take 2 out of the next 3? Copperheads right now are in a stretch where they have taken 2 out of 3, and we'll see if the Copperheads can keep it going against the Hamilton Joes with this sort of momentum, and Hamilton going this way, Copperheads going that way. It's really good news for Southern Ohio.
And that'll be something important on this home stretch, as we talked about a couple of times today. 7 out of their next 8 games will be played here with this crowd at Bob Wren Stadium, and we've seen how this team rallies around a community. So being able to, maybe win 4 out of the 7 or even 5 out of the 7 is going to be critical for moving up those standings. Only 2 games out of 6th place, only 6 games out of 1st place. So really a lot of upward mobility still left in the season, as we're not, the Copperheads aren't even to the halfway point yet.
It is actually. Now we have just reached the halfway point. As now we're 19 games down, 19 to go in this Copperhead season. And it's really exciting to see what the Copperheads can do. We know what they're capable of. Now it's all about being able to put it together with some consistency, and we'll do that again as we play the Hamilton Joes tomorrow. So for Sedric Granger and Tim Hanna, the Copperheads win today 14-3 on Turn It Gold night, and they'll look to keep it going tomorrow against the Hamilton Joes. Everybody take care and good night.